Good Tuesday afternoon, everybody. We are live from the Body and Mind Wellness Center studio here in Sarasota. I am Brian Gould. This is the Brian Gould Show. In studio with me today is Evan.
Well, hello, boys and girls.
And we got Jay.
What's going on? It's real mellow music.
It is very
Just
mellow. Good tempo. Little gets your head bobbing just a little bit.
Ooh, Bobby, baby.
Bobby, Bobby, Bobby. How are you guys doing today?
We are good.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I think I just saw a cartwheel out of you, Evan.
Well, Jay too.
Jay did backflips. I saw that.
But we
It was hyperventilating outside.
we went ahead and did. Us. We usually have 7 things going on at a time, so now we've got 10 things going on.
10. Perfect. Well, guys, call in at any point throughout the show here, 941-330-4087. You can tweet me, Real Brian Gould, or shoot me a message on Facebook, Real Brian Gould as well. Yesterday, the playoff position in MLB got a little tighter. Few things happened there yesterday. The Dodgers beat the Reds 18-9. Houston over Pittsburgh 3-1.
I love really, really, really good defense.
Defense wins games.
18-9.
Yeah. Washington fell short to Baltimore 3-4. Colorado fell to Milwaukee 4-2. Arizona over Atlanta 9-8. Cleveland wins a shutout 1-0 over Oakland. Chicago Cubs defeated San Diego 5-1. The Yankees fell short to Seattle 7-5, and Boston defeated the Rays. Price was lights out in that game last night.
Brought our win streak of 7 to an end, huh?
It came to an end.
Damn it.
Price did not allow – well, rather, Boston did not allow anybody to reach second base till the ninth inning last night. And there was a spectacular play by the left fielder for Boston. Their outfielder caught a ball that was going over the fence, and he actually jumped over the fence to make the play.
If you're going to lose, that's the way I want to lose. I want to lose in a good game, and that's why you lose. And if we go ahead and we take 7 and lose 1 for the rest of the year, I'll take that too.
Yeah.
Because that'll get us to where we have to be.
Absolutely. And you can check that out. Check the video out. Go to BrianGouldShow.com. I got the video posted there, or Facebook, Twitter as well. And as a Rays fan, you're a little bit of a Rays fan, correct?
I'm an extreme Rays fan, yeah. I really like it.
It's I have a hard time watching these guys get beat up by their old boy there. David Price was lights out, and I'm sure Tampa fans, you being a Tampa fan, kind of bitter to see that, but
it's one of those weird things. It's I'm glad for him because he did so much for us. So I mean, why would you hold? And I understand he wants to go make money, and he wants, of course, he's trying to get a ring.
Yep, that's what it's all about.
And that is, but it does. It sucks when you got your guy that you brought up and or not brought up, but
molded him. You made
helped him get to where he is, and then you have to play him.
Yeah.
So it's kind of pride, but then it's just agony at the same time.
I've been in the Tampa Bay area for 15 years now. I haven't jumped on the bandwagon yet. I cannot officially say go Rays, but go Rays. I hope they can come out of the basement and make that division a little more interesting. But with that win with Boston, that put them on top in the wild card, and it actually put them in first place in the American League playoff hunt. They went from just outside to just in with that win. So you've got Boston sitting on top.
You remember what I was saying yesterday about just running out the to first base and maybe getting 2 or 3 extra games a year.
Yep, that's it.
That's it right there.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Boston's leading the American League now in the playoff picture. You have Toronto right behind them, and then Cleveland and Texas. And it's a very, very, very tight race. Boston and actually Boston and Toronto have the exact same record. You've got Cleveland with 72 wins and Texas at 73, sitting in the last spot there.
You know how much I dislike Boston at this point? I would rather see the one and only Canadian team win the World Series than Boston. And I never root against America as a whole for the most part, generally.
But see, Toronto's different. It's almost like an adopted American city. It really is.
You know what though? But it's still Canada.
It's still
and
Canada.
I would rather Toronto win than Boston win.
I'm with you on that. Yeah, all day long. The team. I'm a Tigers fan, and any team that beats Boston.
I think the entire planet. Everybody makes fun of Yankees, right? And the evil empire and all the money.
Yes.
But at least with them, there is hardcore respect, and the reason why you hate them is because they do nothing, or they have gone on very long runs of doing nothing but winning.
But win.
But here's something else with the Yankees that I think people forget. They go on very long runs without winning. They went through from 1977 to what? 1977 until they won the first one in 96. They went without any wins. And they have not won now since 2001.
Right.
So they go through long periods of time without winning.
They do. They really do.
But when they have their teams, they're juggernauts. They win, 6 out of 10, that kind of stuff.
Correct. Yeah, and like you said, they're respected.
Right.
They don't flash it in your face. They're not jumping up and down, crotch chopping, saying "suck it, suck it, suck it." We're the best. We're the best.
No matter what happens, when you look at it, they've still won over 25% of all World Series.
Yeah, correct.
And they've been to, 35, 40%.
Some ridiculous number.
Something ridiculous like that, right? So how do you say? And they've had, let's face it, they've probably had at least 50%, or pretty damn close. I'm thinking. Of the unbelievably amazing players. And probably not 50%. That's probably too high, but
just touch
25%
easily. Maybe. And I was just going to touch upon that. From any sport, can you look at a team
absolutely not.
And just not be able to rattle off at least either of us?
There's
any
only,
of us can sit here and probably rattle off 15 to 20 players that played for the Yankees. Can you do that?
Only one other team ever, and we talked about them yesterday, Dream Team.
Correct.
That is it. And they don't even have 15 or 20 because there was only 13 on the team or something like that, right?
12 or 13.
Yeah.
But I mean, just in history of time.
Absolutely. You go. Let's see here. You go, all right, some old guys. You got obviously Babe Ruth. You've got Phil Rizzuto. You've got Mickey Mantle. You got Joe DiMaggio, Lou Gehrig. You got
Yogi Berra,
Whitey Ford. You got Reggie. Get a little newer. Reggie Jackson. You had the Rocket. You had. Which was a nightmare for Boston.
Mattingly.
Oh my God, yeah. Winfield.
We're at 15 already.
That I know, and we haven't even.
Pausing.
We're not even out of the 80s yet, and that's because we skipped from the 40s, late 40s to the 80s.
We jumped right through it. I mean, can you do that in any other sport? I mean, you can probably name a handful of Lakers.
I can do with the Rays.
You can go.
Andrew Jones, Chipper Jones, Maddox.
Oh, you mean the Braves? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, the Braves.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. You know what? You're right.
But that's only because I lived there for such a long time when they were so huge.
Right.
They were huge.
Huge.
But then again, I can do with the Mets too, But that's an 86 because I was a kid.
True
but
fan.
you're right. But it's definitely, other than your teams that you loved. All right. So if you say, okay, can you do that for a team that you aren't a fan of? How about that?
Right.
Now that's the real question.
And I'm not a Yankees fan, but I could rattle off, like we just did, 15, 20 guys.
That's right.
But I couldn't. I mean, besides the teams I like, I couldn't do that in any other
How
sport.
about this? Here's another unbelievably famous team, Brooklyn Dodgers.
The Brooklyn
Can
Dodgers.
you name 5 guys?
Other than Jackie Robinson.
There you go.
But
that's a perfect example.
Yeah.
I mean, they were in the World Series against the Yankees all the time.
All the time.
That's
a good point. I could not.
How about this? Other than, let's say, 19. How about Boston? How about an older team from Boston? Can you name 5 guys?
No.
You've got
I mean,
who's the biggest Boston guy you can remember?
My early days.
No, before that, like from the heyday.
way back.
Big time hitter.
You're leading me down the path, but I don't know. You'd probably say it and I'd be like, oh yeah, that's right.
How How about all right? What about let's like a team like the Expos? Can you name anybody from the Expos? I can only name one, and that's because he's a Met.
That's right. Dawson. Didn't Andre Dawson play there?
Andre Dawson did. As a matter of fact, that's right.
Yeah.
And that's not even the one I was thinking about. I was thinking Gary Carter.
Carter. Oh, I forgot about that.
He is the
that's right.
only one for the Expos. He's the only Expo in the history of baseball they retired him as an Expo into the Hall of Fame.
No kidding.
It seems like every few years they allow the player to pick, or they make them go to whatever team they want. And with him, they had him represent the Expos, even though he wanted to go in as a Met.
That's unreal. I did not know that.
Only Expo to be in the Hall of Fame.
The only Expo.
That's right.
The first and last.
That's absolutely true.
Well, Boston, with that win over the Rays last night, they take over the American League standings up on top. And like we were saying yesterday, there's right around 40 games, a little less than that to go. And Boston's last 10, and they're 8-2. The Rays last 10, they're 6-4. So they're actually, they're still not out. They're sitting 15.5 games back out of the wild card, and there could be a lot of movement. They put together another 6-7 games. You definitely chiseled that number down to almost single digits, depending on how the rest of the American League pans out. In the National League, really no movement. Washington still sitting on top. The Cubs in second. Dodgers sitting at third. And San Francisco actually lost a game on the Dodgers yesterday, so they're a game and a half back. And they're actually tied with St. Louis now for the final wild card spot.
To say this, there's 38 games left or something like that, right around there.
Yep.
And everybody's like, a lot of those teams are between 1 and 1.5 games behind. That's a whole lot of baseball left.
There's a lot.
There is a whole lot of baseball. The only team, there's only a couple teams, like maybe the Braves. The Braves. There's not enough teams. There's not enough games.
22 out. Yeah.
That's just gonna be ridiculous.
Not happening. Not happening.
So.
And the Mets, your Mets are sitting at 4.5 games.
Yeah, we're 4.5 out as of yesterday. So that's very doable for 30 days.
Absolutely.
I mean, and thank God. That's the one thing about my Mets. We know, because it just seems like we're always, no matter how good we are, we always play from behind. We always play. The only time I can remember is, let's see here now, 9 years ago, the Mets, game 1, were in first place and stayed in first place. When we ended the year, we were 19 games up and then lost in the first round. That's my Mets.
I was just going to touch on that. See, the whole wild card thing, fighting for that last position.
Love it.
And I get it. But do you really want to just make the playoffs to play the first place team and get hammered?
You know what?
You hope that Lady Luck's on your side and your Cinderella team and you can pull it off. But seriously, do you want to just make it just so you can get hammered?
At least you got the opportunity.
And
I get that,
and that's true. And also, depending on how you do it, you get more confident the more you win. And when you're in a run and you have to make a crazy run to get in, when you're in there, you say, "Oh yeah, okay." Who's really the best baseball team at that point? You say, okay, well, let's say the number one team has played well all year long. So they are overall the best team. But if you just had to win 19 out of 22 games to get there, who's really the best baseball team right there?
At that
second.
At that moment.
And that's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
So that's why the wild card is so crazy.
Getting hot at the right time. If you're walking...
And that's so baseball. I mean, because you could say... just look at batting slumps and pitching slumps and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It happens, and it always happens, and that's why that's why when it comes to baseball, it is so. It just drives people nuts because it is so drama. It's 100% drama no matter what. And people say it's boring. Some people do, but it's not. It's unbelievable drama.
The team that is coming into a wild card spot like that with the hot streak, that's the team you definitely have to look out for. But if you're that team that's 6-4 going into your last 10 games, and the team in front of you loses, and you win on the last day, and you just get in, that's the team that usually gets slapped around, and they're out, they're gone.
I understand what you're saying with that, but you still do have, like Jay was saying, the opportunity. And regular baseball is a whole different feel than playoffs.
Playoffs, yes, correct.
So postseason, people get out of control. You get these guys who have like a 128 batting average, and they end up hitting 3 home runs to win games and stuff like that.
Right, right.
That's why it's so exciting, and that's why they play the game. And it's tough, too, because now it's a one-game playoff to right off the bat to get in.
To get in, yep.
Which is awesome because then it doesn't matter.
I like that.
You know?
I like the format. I've always, I don't know, just since the wild card really became super relevant, I've always looked at that last spot just like, do you really want to get in there just to get knocked out? And I guess, in essence, to kind of disagree with myself, San Francisco did it a few years back when they won the World Series. And
yes.
The Tigers went to the World Series. San Francisco literally got in on the last day.
Right.
And destroyed everybody.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, well, we got a fighting.
By the way,
they
that was
swept us
a
like
great
we were nothing.
time.
Yeah.
That was a great year. That was fun.
And they showed up with brooms and swept right through everybody. I'm like,
that was
what?
awesome.
Like literally, if that team wouldn't have gotten in, I forget who they edged out, and if that other team had made the playoffs and not San Francisco, would that have been?
Wasn't it the Dodgers?
You know what? It might have been actually.
Do you remember the year when the A's with their rally monkey?
Yes.
Went crazy?
Yes.
That was awesome.
That was
Did you say the AIDS with their rally monkey?
The A's.
Careful, Evan.
That was a
Jesus.
good time for those guys.
That was a great. I love years like that. But you know what? And when it comes to postseason for baseball and playoff baseball, the only thing I do not like about it, I actually like everything about it, with the exception of the All-Star game meaning goddamn anything for the World Series. Yeah. That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. And because they made such a giant mistake with that giving up with ending that All-Star game 18 years ago,
yeah.
Because they made such a horrible, horrible mistake that day, they've now come back and overcorrected the mistake to make it worse. There is no way that you should be able to be on a team. Let's just say, my Mets are ahead by 25 games at the end of the year and destroy everybody, but because a stupid-ass game with one Met or two Mets on it lost a stupid game to the other league, and somebody who barely gets in and now maybe even will be a wild card get in will get the home field advantage. That is absolute bullshit.
I do find that absurd. I see where they were coming from trying to make that game more meaningful because in any other sport, it's just hoopla. It's just the All-Star game.
See, they missed the point of the All-Star game. Everybody from the players to the coaches to the front office for that game, they missed the point. The point of the game means absolutely nothing with the exception of it is a thank you and to show respect to the people who watch the game.
That's it.
The people who pay the tickets. That's why if you are asked to be in that game, you shouldn't be able to say no unless you're hurt. Because if the guys who are paying the bills ask you to, they like you so much that they want you, they vote you in. You should absolutely have to go, because what you're doing there is you just showing a nice, cool, fun game with all the stars playing that game to the people who love you, and that's all it means. And that's what's important. I don't care who wins or loses that game. You're supposed to just show up. We're supposed to have a really cool team that you would never have otherwise.
Correct.
And everybody's just supposed to have a beer, have a dog, bring the kids, and have fun. That's all that game is about. But that might be the most important game.
Right. Well, with that being said, how do you make it more meaningful then to the players and more intriguing? Like, you're forced to play, fine, I'll play, and maybe give minimal effort, but now they're showing up because
then do it the other way.
It's worth the playoff.
If you don't show up, don't show up and play properly, if you show up and you get fined, I don't care. You're not playing properly. We'll fine you $1 million, because that's thumbing your nose to people who want you there.
Right.
If you are hurt or there's an issue legitimately, we're fine with that. We understand that.
You're going to see everyone going on the 15-day DL day before with a hurt pinky,
and you know, but then we know who it is,
right? And
be like, okay, fine, the hell with you.
Yeah. It's unfortunate that it does boil down to home field advantage in the World Series.
That's ridiculous.
It stinks. I understand that where they're coming from, trying to make that game meaningful.
Yeah, it was called bad front. It was bad management on a whole as a baseball organization, allowing that team to end as a draw because the people who paid for those tickets, $1,600, $1,700, $3,500 a ticket, weren't important enough to finish the game out.
If it was,
And that's all it boiled down to.
if I was commissioner sitting in the stands and the umpire and the coaches come to me and say, "Hey, we ran out of pitchers," I'd say, "Well, you still got players."
You got a second baseman.
Yeah.
It happens in baseball every once in a while. It used to happen a lot.
You see outfielders pick up the
Used
ball
to
and go
happen
do
all
it.
the time. By the way, which makes a very exciting, cool-ass game.
Absolutely.
Do you care who wins at that point? No.
No.
But there's, you're in the 12th inning. They're now using a shortstop as a pitcher. There's crazy plays going on because you got nobody playing shortstop now.
Right.
And
you know if what you can throw a ball, then you can pitch.
I agree 100%.
Remember Jose Canseco when he got on the mound?
That's
you
yeah.
Come on.
And you know what? How long is that game going to really last at that point? Because somebody's going to go up there, and you're probably going to walk somebody across. Somebody's going to get hit, walk across, or somebody's going to tee up on a bad pitch and crush it.
Crush it right out of there.
So, and who cares? You get paid that much money. I don't care if it's a 150 inning game. You're finishing it.
Finish it.
That's the kind of money you get paid for.
A draw. All-Star game comes to a draw.
All-star draw. You can all-star kiss my ass. You know what? I have not watched an all-star game since that day.
I have not actually. Now that you said that, I have not actually. I never really got into the All-Star game. I like the home run derby.
I used to love that too. I don't know. You're not nearly as old as I am, but back in the day when I was a kid, they used to play reruns from the 60s, 50s, 40s, and 30s of the game. All, by the way, played during the day, which was so cool. And I used to love that. So All-Star game, I used to love, but then I used to love also, like yourself, the home run derby. I only just started, let's see, in the last 10 years, if I've watched 3 home run derbies, that's a lot, and I have not watched a single All-Star game.
No kidding.
Will not. And actually, I'll tell you what, I was a huge, huge, huge fan. Always have been of baseball. And then in 94, when they went on strike, 94? Does that sound right?
I think so.
94. 94, they went on strike. Yep. It took almost 10. I did not watch a single second of baseball after that. I swore off baseball.
You're bitter.
Until Barry Bonds and Mark McGwire. I'm sorry, Sosa and McGwire. That brought me back in. So I understand there's a drug issue, but if it wasn't for those two guys, they single-handedly might have saved baseball.
You know what? I think you're right. Baseball lost a lot of fans after that strike.
And should have. And if they ever go on strike again, I think we should absolutely never watch again.
But Sosa McGwire was awesome to watch. And even Bonds, when he was on his tear, just brought people.
Bonds didn't care. It was just basically him alone. Don't care.
Yeah.
The other two, though, back and forth, them being so cool about it was awesome. And that is actually, unfortunately, the byproduct of that was the drug era.
Right.
Allowing the drug era, and not so much the drug era itself, allowing it to continue. Because I understand baseball was like, wait a second, what's going on here? But they're looking at their numbers, and their numbers going through the roof, and it was so needed.
You have to turn a cheek.
They were like, you know what? We're going to go ahead and let this go.
Right.
They let it go too long.
Yeah.
And is that still cheating? Yeah. But sometimes there's no tomorrow if you can't get to where you have to be.
Right, and you address it in the offseason.
Right.
That's exactly what they did. I mean, going back to the All-Star game, the American League won, so therefore, the American League representative has home field advantage in the World Series, depending on how that shakes down, who's in it.
With the All-Star game, here's my question. How do you pick what the rules are for the All-Star game? Do the pitchers hit or not?
I believe it actually boils down to whoever is home team. So if the National League's
every
home,
other year?
yeah,
Okay.
I believe they alternate. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then, right there is always an advantage to the American League every year.
Hands down.
Every year.
If they win, yeah, they've got home field.
I mean,
You
because
guys are still talking about that? I walked outside 5 minutes ago.
this is a sports show, dude.
I didn't say you're still talking about sports. He gets off in this all-star thing even on our show all
No,
the
it's
time.
a good thing. It's a good
all
thing.
the time.
I
Get
don't-
over it.
Get over it. What do you think about it? Do you think it's fair? Do you think it's good?
I think I definitely understand why they did it. I think it adds something to the game instead of just, an all-star game.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit about the NBA all-star game?
Nobody.
Oh, look, no one's hands are going up. How about the NFL one? Anybody?
Oh, that's the
Anyone?
worst. Yeah.
No? Nobody?
Yeah.
Who watches what's the highest rated one? Baseball. You know why? Because it matters. Do you agree with what it matters and why it does? No, but it matters.
It always mattered.
Yeah.
It always mattered. And people went, and baseball was a different thing. Baseball people loved because it was baseball. And they sold out every game. You
And
can't.
then they went on a strike twice in like 6 years and ruined everything.
They did. I understand that. But basically all you're saying is that the people who watch it are not important enough to do the game. Now, football is absolute garbage because they play it afterwards.
You know,
or
But
right
that
be-
makes-
and-
but that
and
actually
right
makes
before-
more sense,
But
though.
right before the most important game.
No, they switched that. It used to be after.
Yeah.
But it makes sense to do it after because then you know how the whole season went, you know.
Well, yeah, now they switched it.
I'd like to get some feedback from any of the listeners. Call in 941-330-4087 on the All-Star game. The NFL All-Star game, you know, the Pro Bowl, they tried it before the Super Bowl. I mean, they did it here in Tampa a few years ago when Tampa hosted the Super Bowl, and I didn't make it to the All-Star game, to the Pro Bowl, but you know, obviously the players that are in the Super Bowl were not going to participate in the Pro Bowl
because of that.
Because of that, I mean, it makes sense. And then they're like, okay, now we're going to put it back in Hawaii. Well, me as a fan,
Nobody can make it to Hawaii. It's too expensive.
you know, I can't go to Hawaii.
The reason they do it in Hawaii is because Hawaii's always wanted to have an NFL team, which is hysterical because it's never going to happen.
Right.
So that was the NFL's way of
And
giving them something.
And 2/3 of the players don't go because they can't afford to take their whole family to Hawaii
Right.
because they're not getting paid to show up there.
I think it should go back to the way they used to have the skills competition in the off season. How they do like the quarterback skill.
Right.
They should just do that at the end of the season. Everybody who's elected to the Pro Bowl gets to all compete. Quarterbacks compete against quarterbacks. Receivers against receivers. You could have so much cool stuff.
You could do that.
You know, the only thing I liked about that kind of stuff in the NFL was, God, it's got to be 15 years ago now. God, correct me if I'm wrong. When they used to do the touch football game, the sand touch football game.
Yes.
That used to be so much fun. And then that rookie kid blew out his knee, unfortunately, and brought that whole game to an end, which I understand.
Yeah, it didn't
I
just blow out his
understand
knee.
that.
Didn't he have to almost have his leg decapitated or cut
amputated,
off?
yeah,
Amputated
it was
because
so
of how bad
It
it
was
was.
so bad.
That's why you don't play football on
It
the
was.
beach, though.
It was. But I like the idea of the touch football game. Put it on grass. I would rather watch that than the regular All-Star game. Because the whole point
like
is,
the skills.
is fun. Well, the skills is great too. But the whole point is for fun for the fans. And people forget that.
And that's what's lost in all of this is the fans. You know, we get too wrapped up in to the meaning of the game, and the real meaning of the game is actually for the fans.
That's it. That's the only meaning.
The fans vote you in, and we want to watch you play. And you know, for whatever reason, I understand. Like with the Pro Bowl, I understand. I vote for whoever to get in, and they don't want to make the trip because they don't want to come out of pocket to do it. I get that. So, you know,
They shouldn't have to come out of pocket because to make it, you get a bonus. It's like 10 or 20 grand to go to the Pro
it's
Bowl.
not much.
That would pay you
No, some of the
20 grand.
they don't get paid enough to make that trip. By the time you pack up the kids, the family, get a
They're
hotel
free
room,
though. The player's free.
they're paying to stay. Yeah, they don't get paid a lot to do that game.
20. If you can't make it off 20 grand,
I don't think it's even that
Yeah.
high.
It's between 10 and 20. That's what we were talking about it last year. Yeah, it's a decent little
It's
check.
a nice little chunk, but
You know what?
from what I understand, it's not enough to make it worth.
I got to pay gas to go to work every fucking day, and I don't get paid for it. You know, this is their gas to go to work, and they're making a ton of money, so I don't care. Or you
If there
say,
was a radio Pro Bowl, and right now, even with a tight budget that we have, and they said we were elected or invited, you better believe me and him are paddling in a boat
we're walking if we have to.
on the water.
We'll swim.
That's
we'll
what I
swim
said.
if we got to.
We'll paddle.
That's right. That's Hawaii. That's right. I forgot. Okay, where are we going?
He's Jesus. He's just gonna walk.
Just gonna
There
walk,
you go.
baby.
You moonwalk across it.
You kidding me? Absolutely. It just drives me nuts. I'm like, I can't stand hearing rich people say it's too expensive. Kiss my ass. They bitch and moan about us not being able to go to a game. Why don't you guys show up? Well, it's $150 every time I walk through the freaking door.
Yeah.
They bitch at us, but when we go ahead after paying all that, they won't go, oh, well, I got to go pay for that. No, I'm not going to do that.
Right. No. It's
So
not in their
blow
vested
me.
interest, that's for sure. Well, end of the day, the American League race has definitely tightened up. It'll be cool to see how this all plays out over the next couple games here. Boston leading the way. Toronto's tied with them. Cleveland and Texas round out the top of the American League. National League, little separation there. Washington on top, the Cubs, the Dodgers, and San Francisco and St. Louis just on the outside, tied for the last wild card spot. And then you have everyone else trickling in behind that. Kobe Bryant announced yesterday his newest adventure, his business adventure. He's actually teaming up with a really good friend of his,
The Cheater Show? Oh.
the Cheater Show.
Sorry.
Pink Diamond Show?
No. Jeff Steibel. Jeff Steibel was actually the former president of Web.com. They're putting their money together, $100 million to invest in a technology and data fund, and it's going to be private. They're not going to make it public for anyone else to jump in and throw some money at it. It's pretty interesting.
With $100 million, do you really need it?
Not really, no. It's not open to the outside investors, and they're looking at 13 companies that they've already invested in and looking to add more. Kobe Bryant just recently retired,
Well, you think they want to invest in a radio station?
Hey, you never know. And
Tell him to give me a call, would you?
he's over the last couple of years privately been investing his money in through his company Kobe Inc. in multiple investments and is doing quite well with it.
Kobe Inc.?
Yeah. His last game that he played for the Lakers, he put up 60 points. That was an awesome game. I watched that game. I'm a Kobe fan. And he
Never liked Kobe.
He never liked Kobe. Kobe, I think he's a hair under Jordan for greatest basketball player of all time.
Am I going to deny that he was good?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I just never liked him.
His personal investments, he invested into a clothing company called Body Armor. And they actually put together some T-shirts for that last game with the phrase Mamba out. And the merchandise sales from that last game...
Mamba out?
Yeah, because that was his nickname, Black Mamba. So he put Mamba out.
When?
He's been Black Mamba for years. That's his nickname.
Really?
Yeah. And at the end, after he was done with the game, he gave a farewell speech, and he literally dropped the mic and said, Mamba out. So he had that on these T-shirts, Body Armor.
Like the poisonous snake, the Black Mamba?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
They rate the merchandise sales just at the Staples Center for that game was $1.2 million. Incredible. So he's gone as far as trying to trademark the phrase Mamba out, but a couple of guys that were at the game
did it immediately.
Jumped on that 2 days after his speech. So he's waiting to see if their trademark goes through or not. But
you could just buy it from him. If he was smart, you know what I mean?
Right.
Hey, guys.
Push comes to shove.
Hey, guys, no problem. I need $40 million.
Or, work out some type of licensing deal with it. I'm sure something will come out of that for him. But he's also getting recognized tomorrow by the city of Los Angeles. They're calling it Kobe Day, 8/24, because he wore 8 early in his career and 24 as a retirement.
Do they let out all rapists at that time? Colorado's not big
now,
on
as
this?
much as I don't like
Colorado's
him,
not big on this one?
As much as I don't like him, I don't think he raped that shit.
I don't
No,
think so.
I don't think he did either. And you know what? He's been doing very well business-wise behind the scenes. He's got these investment ventures. He's expecting his third kid actually pretty soon, too. And
with the same wife that hates him and he has to buy a ring for every 2 years?
They've been married 15 years. Yeah, their third kid. And
he's been apologizing for 13.
Yeah.
It's true, right? Wasn't he only like 2 years?
Well, he's allegedly. We can't say for a fact, but allegedly he can't stop cheating. Allegedly, that's the deal. I don't think he's a rapist, but
how could he?
I just don't understand why you get married when you come into the league or you're young like that and you're in your early 20s.
I know he's an idiot.
He got $100 million.
It's puppy love.
He's an idiot. But here's my other thing too. How can a woman actually think, or a guy, either way? How can the person who's not unbelievably famous like that even fathom that they're actually going to be able to stay out of everybody else's pants?
Yeah. Right.
Look, there's some give and take. I'm giving you $150 million in this unbelievably ridiculous life, and I love you, and I have your kids. But occasionally I'm going to dip my stick into something else.
It's going to happen with some of these guys. It's going to happen. It's unfortunately.
You have to understand that's the way it is. If women are going to throw themselves at me all day long, especially guys, okay? Women are at least used to it. Their entire lives, everybody wants to bang the crap out of every chick. So they grow up used to it. Guys, that's not generally the idea. We are always trying to jump on somebody, but never. Then when it switches around the other way,
when you don't have to work for it,
after a guy has now been knows how to be turned down very well. Some of these guys, though, in high school they were lucky, and then college, obviously, so they do probably get used to it eventually. But really, when there is 4.5 billion women on the planet, and every single one wants to blow you, that's tough. Okay, and think about those numbers. Even if he only does it 0.001% of the time, which is nothing, That's still, a couple hundred times throughout his life.
It's a rough life to have, I guess.
I'm sorry. When you get like that, when you have that kind of money and that kind of fame, there's a certain point where you just have to be realistic if you're the woman. And I'm not saying just a woman. Other way around, same too. You're married to some famous, unbelievably hot chick, and it's the other way around. You've got to know that down the line somewhere,
she's just getting railed.
And the older you get, the more it's the chance of it happening get higher.
The more
because
famous.
When you're married to a hot little girl and she's 18 to 25 years old and she's banging and you're a young guy, whatever, you get to about 50 and you're still with the same banging looking 45-year-old chick, and then these 18 to 25-year-old girls are all over you every day. Come on, guy.
I feel like he's trying to get a message out to someone here. I
don't know.
I'm not.
He's set on this.
I just feel it. It's weird.
Some intensity behind that.
I understand it's not everybody, but to say that it's not at least 80% of the population, I think is ridiculous.
Well, he's done quite well for himself behind the scenes.
Once he got out of court for rape.
Yeah, moving forward off of
after all the cheating.
Yeah. He's been an influence to a couple other NBA stars, like Carmelo Anthony started his own fund late last year, investing in 20 different companies, and a few other NBA stars are starting to jump on board.
That's actually a smart thing. That is a good thing because I'm tired of hearing all these goddamn athletes. After all this time, I'm a millionaire, and then being broke when it's all said and done.
Well, look at Magic Johnson. He took his money and invested it into the Lakers and then into the Dodgers. And
I'll tell you, it seems like it's all the basketball players.
Yeah.
Now,
even David Robinson, he took the money that he made and he started his own, what was it, like a real estate company. And he's pulling between $300 to $350 million a year in investments, buying and flipping and everything else with that in Texas. That guy's making more money now than he made his whole career in the NBA.
David Robertson went to the military.
He was
Navy Academy, right?
and got drafted by the Spurs.
Right off the bat, the guy was brilliant to begin with.
Yes.
You do not get into that school.
Well, you don't hear of anybody getting drafted out of the Army, Navy, Air Force, and then making it into a pro sport.
Oh, it very rarely happens. When they do, they release them because then they are now their job for the military is FaceTime for the military. Hey, look, you can do this, which is worth way more than him sitting behind any kind of military, rank doing something for real.
Right.
So,
yeah, he's doing very well.
The
for
Admiral.
Himself. The Admiral, exactly. That's what it's called. I think it's called Admiral Investments or Admiral Capital Investment, something along that line. But he's making between.
Always liked him.
Excellent guy, really nice guy,
him.
and probably hands down the best left-handed basketball player to walk the planet.
Well, that's pretty specific. Best left-handed player who ties his shoes with his right hand and eats cornflakes every third day. There you go. That's specific.
Right on point. But Kobe definitely going in the right direction and being a good influence to some other younger players coming up. It'd be interesting to see if he ends up buying into a team later on down the road or not. I know that usually ends up happening at some point. So, guys, we're going to take a quick break, and for the second hour, we're going to come back, talk some NFL, cover all the divisions, and break that down and see who's going to be the best. This is Brian Gould with The Brian Gould Show.
Hey, this is Chuck from the BS Show. I want you guys to go check out the best Italian restaurant I've ever been to, Dolce Italia. It's at 6551 Gateway Ave. Their phone number for reservations, 941-921-7007. Guys, when I say this food's amazing, I've been all over the country, all over the world. This is the best Italian food I've ever had. Authentic, unbelievable stuff. Gotta go check it out.
Hi, I am Tiziana. I come from Naples. I own Dolce Italia, Italian restaurant in Golf Gate, 6551 Gateway Avenue. Come to try our wonderful food. Mangia bene, ridi spesso, ama molto. Eat well, laugh often, love much.
Tune in to Goddess Gossip.
We could talk about how I'm not a Star Wars person.
Okay, yeah, we should talk about that.
Now that Jay is back too.
I like Star Wars, and
It's not that I don't like it, I've just never seen it.
well,
I can't
I've
say
seen
I
them
like
all,
something
and
I don't know.
I guess I've never been like a diehard Star Wars, but like I can follow it, and I've always gotten it, and like I like stars, and I don't like wars, but I like galaxy shit and
Oh
like
my
the
gosh, you're
cosmos.
saying so literal. You sound so blonde and basic.
I really am.
Well, I like stars, but I don't like war, so
I am
But,
basic.
like,
50-50
I'm
so
super
far.
basic and super
I like-
blonde, so tune into our show Goddess Gossip Saturdays, 10 p.m. to 12 a.m.
Golfgate, Sarasota, it's time to eat, and there's only one place to go. Ham Heaven and Devil Dogs, 2647 Mall Drive in Golfgate. Try the one-of-a-kind filet mignon sliders, or the award-winning Reuben sandwich, voted best in the state of Florida. Ham Heaven and Devil Dogs is open Monday through Saturday till 3 a.m. So after the bars close, you can get some of the best food in Sarasota. Call in and place your order today at 941-923-2514. That's 941-923-2514. Check them out online at hamheavenanddevildogs.webs.com or on facebook.com/HH&DD.
Hey, this is Paulie from the BS Show. When I'm out and about, having too many, it happens to us all, there's only one cab service I call. It's my ride. 941-400-6606. No more 3-time surcharges. No more drivers that don't speak English, don't know where you're going. They pick you up, they take you home safely, clean cars. They're professionals. They know exactly what they're doing. And when you're riding with my ride, don't forget to mention the BS Show, 20% off your ride. Chucky, on occasion, will have too much.
Not me, Paul.
These guys are the best. They're what you want to call. They will take care of you. 941-400-6606. My ride. It's not your ride. It's not his ride.
My ride.
It's my ride.
Hello, this is Captain Sherman of Paradise Boat Tours, and if you're looking for a great adventure on our beautiful local waters, then we are the boat tour for you. Check out our website at seadolphins.com. We leave 7 days a week from Bradenton Beach Pier on beautiful Anna Maria Island. It's fun for the whole family, and yes, we see wild dolphin 95% of our tours. Paradise Boat Tours. Call us at 941-465-8624. Like us on Facebook or go to seadolphins.com. Here, Flipper.
So, Evan, you want to make the other announcement? I know you're excited and happy.
We do have a fantastic new sponsor, absolutely. We are now very lucky to have Rico's Pizza as a sponsor for us. 6547 Gateway Avenue in Gulfgate. They're open from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m., 7 days a week. They've been there 17 years.
Ain't going
Jump
anywhere.
online, ricospizzatogo.com. Give them a phone call at 941-922-9604. We did find out today that you mentioned the 444 Radio or the BS show from 444 Radio. You will get 20% off your tab. Give them a phone call, guys, 941-922-9604 or ricospizzatogo.com.
How you doing? This is Chuck from the BS Show. I would like to tell you about a great company, Sarasota Sign Machine, LLC, the exclusive sign and print sponsor for 444 Radio. A sign of quality you can trust, located at 601 North Washington Boulevard, celebrating 6 years in business and over 20 years of experience in Sarasota. If you need signs, banners, vehicle magnets, custom design, neon repair, business cards, printing, and more, trust the Sarasota Sign Machine. Look, let's be honest, you have so much more to think about when running your own business. Call us at 941-302-4275. Check us out on Facebook or at sarasotasignmachine.com. A sign of quality you can trust. Tell them the BS Show sent you.
Evan, we've lived here 6 months and this bathroom still looks terrible. You're supposed to help me remodel it by now.
I know. You just know how busy I am, though.
Busy? We've got to get this done. If I can't do it because I don't have time and you don't have time, what are we going to do?
I know who to call.
Hello, my name is Stephen Dennis. I own a business here in town called Needaman2 LLC. My email address is needaman2@gmail.com. My number is 941-232-2776. Again, that's 941-232-2776.
Oh my gosh, this looks amazing.
What a great idea.
I'm Dr. Sean Stringer. Me and Dr. Philip Nikeo are the newest members of the 444 radio lineup. We'll cover weight loss, health issues, mental health issues, and we'll talk with top health, wellness, and personal development gurus in the industry. You can even call in with your questions and much, much more. Trust me, I'm a doctor. Wednesday nights from 7 to 9 on 444 Radio.
Hey guys, how we doing? This is Evan from the Bean and Soup Bad Show. I'm here with Rita from J-Dub's Brewing Company, and we're in studio. How are we doing today, Rita?
Good, how are you?
Excellent. Hey, I know you have a fantastic brewery over there. Please tell me a little bit about it.
The brewery itself has a tasting room. It has 10 tap lines, so you can find anything that you want, from a light to a dark flavor.
So whatever you like, you can get it?
Absolutely, we got a flavor for you.
Perfect. Also, tell me a little bit about the beer garden I've been hearing so much about.
We got a big backyard out back. We're kid-friendly, we're dog-friendly, so you can come bring your family and friends and just have a good time, play some games, and drink some beer.
Excellent. And then you guys got food?
Absolutely. We got food trucks every day around 5 o'clock. We're open Wednesday through Sunday, noon to midnight.
Excellent. Hey, I hear a rumor that you guys do something cool over there on Wednesdays.
We do. We have free yoga on Wednesday evening starting at 6:30. Come hang out and drink a beer and stretch it out.
And that sounds like a great way to spend a Wednesday, I'll tell you. It's 1215 Mango Avenue, Sarasota, Florida, 941-955-2739. And what about social media?
Go to jdubsbrewing.com and you'll find everything right there.
You guys are by far the best brewery in town, and we're proud to have you guys as our sponsor. Come on out there, have a drink with us, and we'll sit around and have a good time.
Cheers, guys.
Looking for the best breakfast place in Sarasota? Look no further. Downtown Word of Mouth, the official breakfast and lunch restaurant of the BS Show, located at 711 South Osprey Avenue, Sarasota. Open 7 days a week. And for special catering events, call 941-365-1800. Don't forget, we are pet friendly with our doggy dining. Like us on Facebook, Word of Mouth SRQ, Downtown Word of Mouth. Tell them the BS Show sent you.
Welcome back, everybody. We are live from the Body and Mind Wellness Center studios in Sarasota, Florida. I'm your host, Brian Gould, on The Brian Gould Show. Feel free to call in at any point in time throughout the show, 941-330-4087. Tweet me live at Real Brian Gould, or message message me at on Facebook, Real Brian Gould. You know what? Yesterday afternoon after I left here, I actually got a phone call from a friend saying, I missed the phone number, but do you guys have an 800 number? And I'm like, dude, really? An 800 number? Who uses those anymore? Like, everyone's got free long distance now.
Yeah.
You know, call toll free. I don't
know, the only way that would make a difference is we do have a ton of people from outside the country who listen. That could be an issue.
Yeah, well, you got the internet.
Yeah,
that's
we talked
free.
about doing a 1-800 number, Evan.
Yeah, you don't want to, I don't know, then you're paying...
Yeah, it's extra. Oh, everything's extra.
Oh, yeah.
No, thanks. So
it's only an extra $25 trillion a day.
That's it.
Does Comcast run that?
Yeah,
of course.
I'm sure they do. They bill that
right
hourly.
after they rape and murder you.
So we're going to jump into NFL football here. We have that season right around the corner. Preseason's only got 2 more weeks to go. Opening weekend is 9/11 is when that starts. And I want to go division by division here and pick your guys' brain, see what you guys think. Let's start off with the NFC East division, and that is made up of Dallas, Washington, Philly, and the Giants. That is probably the most rivaled division.
Because they all suck.
It's always been shittiest.
Yeah, and that's also the other side of the coin for that. The Cowboys...
when the Cowboys end up on top, you know it can't be good.
Yeah, exactly. The Cowboys, Giants, Redskins, and Eagles, and they beat the hell out of each other every season. And I've never been a Cowboys fan. I've always thought that they've been slightly overrated. They always have one or two, maybe three key names on paper that looks really, really good, and then they just underperform. And year in and year out, they are the Vegas odds favorite for their division, and they happen to be this year as well, and I don't understand why.
Well, as of right now, and you're talking about Dallas, right?
Correct.
Okay. Now, right now, though, you've got Philly with 2-0. Dallas has split it. Washington has split it. And the Giants are in the toilet with no wins whatsoever.
It's just preseason.
Of course, it's also preseason. I do understand that. But even in preseason, when Philly's on top, I don't want to even talk to you ever again, ever about football if you are losing.
You're a hater, huh?
Philly? Really? Philly. They're absolutely horrible. Now, I hate Dallas. Make no mistake. And you brought this up yesterday, America's team. That infuriates me. I don't know why they would be considered America's team. Unfortunately, I think if you had to give that to somebody, you would probably either have to give it to Philly, or definitely New England. But neither one of them are America's team in my eyes either. So why the hell does Dallas get it?
They got that coined during the whole Jimmy Johnson.
Oh yeah,
in
the 80s
and 90s.
I'm sorry,
yeah,
90s.
and I get that, but
they won 4, right?
Can we uncoin that now? Can we take that away from them? Can we please officially take that?
Well, who would take it? Then probably the cheating pieces of crap of the Patriots.
Does there have to be one?
No, there doesn't.
The way this country works, yeah. Unfortunately,
I mean, the Patriots are
the
who
Gators,
they are,
America's team.
It's a little better.
That's a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, preseason right now, you have Philly sitting on top of that division. I mean, it's just preseason, but to get a real format of how teams are going to finish, preseason's not a great way to base that off of. Some teams go 4-0 in preseason, and then they struggle to win 4 games all season long. But
Philly.
So if you were to pick a team right now that's going to finish last in that division, who and why?
Oh, in that division?
Yes.
I'm gonna guess he's gonna pick Philly.
I'm gonna say definitely. No, it's gonna be
He's
still
still hurt from when Chip Kelly let go of Tebow before he got fired.
Philly or Washington. It's gonna be a toss up, and probably Philly because they can't do jack. So I put Philly at the ass end of that one.
You've got Philly on bottom, Jay.
Right.
I don't know, man. It's gonna be. I feel like anybody in that division could win that division, and anybody in that division could lose it. But I might have to go with Washington because I feel like Kirk Cousins is going to just fall off a cliff.
That's true too, which is probably going to happen anyway.
Because the coaching staff there's just
that's
the dumb Gruden.
When I say Philly in the hole, I'm thinking 4 games maybe they win, and I can see Washington just eking it out with 5 wins.
I can see the Giants collapse too, though.
The Giants. Oh yeah, absolutely.
They were great in offense last year, but their defense was atrocious, and
Dallas.
They overpaid.
If Dallas ends up 1 game over 500, that's probably right where they're going to sit. So.
All right, so we've got end all be all. Jay, your bottom.
I guess I'll go Washington.
Washington and Philly for you, huh?
Yeah.
I see Washington doing okay. They had a good run last year. I think the Giants bottom out in that division. I do. I really do.
I can't say I'd be surprised.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't be so surprised that they bottom out. I'd just be more surprised that they beat out Philly to be the basement.
Because
Philly's got a lot of talent and a new coach, though, so I could see them.
The only thing they got going for them is when you have a new coach that could be a savior or a curse.
They've had a lot of talent, though, minus the quarterback position, and they won some games. Chip Kelly's the reason that they sucked last year.
I think the last place team is going to be 7-9. The 2 middle teams will be 8-8, and you'll have a 9-7 representative out of that division.
I could definitely. That sounds very realistic.
I think the Giants are going to bottom that out.
I agree with you. I think that you might be a little bit nice about that.
Yeah,
but I can definitely see that.
I've got the Giants sitting at the bottom.
Yeah, there's no way the Giants lose or finish worse than 6 or 7 wins. Just Eli's just going to throw for too many yards and you know what I mean? Yeah. Like him by himself, even if they finish last, they're not going to be a 3-win team. Eli's
I agree with that. They're good for 6 or 7, and I think that's where they're going to be right at 7. 8 might be a stretch. I don't have a lot of confidence in their defense. They're good for offense, but
they got Olivier Vernon though from Miami for $1 billion.
And you know how those players pan out when they spend all that money.
I know.
Why don't you go?
We didn't want him.
I was just going to say, go ask your Dolphins how.
We took Mario Williams, who's 8 years older.
Is it bad to think that at at 8-8, Dallas is going to be the top at 8-8.
Right. And that's
for real. I think that is going to be.
They have the most talent
ceiling
of anybody in the division.
They do.
Well, the Giants on offense, I don't know, man. Not many people can touch New York on offense, but overall, I still think the Cowboys have the most talent.
And that's going to be my third place team. I have the Giants on bottom with Dallas just above them at an 8-8.
You're on crack if you think Washington's finishing second.
Washington
is either last or first in that division.
I've got them second.
No way. Kirk Cousins is either going to continue to mystify and continue to be good, or everyone's going to figure that on out.
Now, when you say 5-9, okay.
So. They're not even going to play a full season.
No. That's right. 5-10. I'm sorry.
Still not playing full season.
16, right?
16 games.
15, buddy.
Hey, 5-11. There you go. Hey, I can add.
Yeah, I think Washington at second and Philly just edging them out. I think it's a 9-7 Philly team, 8-8 Washington.
9-7 Philly team.
They're just going to beat themselves up, and you play everybody twice in your division, so you're guaranteed at least a split because that's usually what happens. No one really sweeps through the whole division. In that division,
I think this year Dallas's chance of taking out. You figure Dallas plays Giants, I'd see them sweeping. I could see Dallas taking at least one from Philly, or at least one from Washington, and then I could see them sweeping Philly also. So I think Dallas is going to do very well in that piece of crap division, which is going to shoot them right to the 8-8 that I was talking about.
Well, looking at Dallas's schedule, they open up against the Giants.
Right, but that's Dallas only winning 3 more games against the entire rest of the league.
They're at the Redskins, the Bears.
2 more.
The Bears might be a pushover game for them. They're in San Francisco. They won't win there. They host Cincy. They won't beat Cincy.
No,
they won't beat the Packers.
How strange is it when you're like Cincy? Ooh, the team you got to worry about.
Yeah.
I don't agree with some of it. Me and Brian might have to go head to head on some of these.
Hey, sign up for that fantasy football pick'em stuff. There we go.
Hey, by the way,
you in pick'em.
Did you notice I signed up for yours?
I did.
Yep,
actually, a lot of people did. Did you see that?
I did. Well, there was like 6 when I.
Chuck, Brian, James, everybody's all signed up now.
There you go.
I mean, the Packers home against the Eagles. They're at the Browns. That should be an easy game. They're at the Steelers. That's a tough place to play. The Ravens are tough.
Ravens.
The Skins, the Vikings. The Vikings.
They don't have murderers anymore. Well, maybe not, but they don't have like a real murderer right now.
I just don't see Dallas being better than 8-8.
No, that's why I put them at 8-8. Realistically, 7-9, definitely. That's fine.
All right,
8-8.
And then, like I said, I've got Dallas, then Washington at second, and Philly winning that division. Philly's got a tough schedule, but I think they can overcome the odds and actually win that division out.
Last year, I was in Dallas for the Dallas Atlanta game. And have you ever been to their stadium in Dallas?
Not in Dallas, no.
Who won that game?
Atlanta did.
Yeah, Atlanta did.
That was the last time Atlanta won, I think, all season.
It might have been. And I got to say, you can say what you want about the Cowboys and how much I hate the team and Jerry Jones and all that bullshit. I've never been to a stadium of any kind that was so big, and on top of being so big, you could just buy a standing room only ticket and stand anywhere around the arena that had a gate, like a rail.
Okay.
And you're allowed to just stand wherever you want.
Oh, so it's like a standing room.
It's a standing room only but it's everywhere. They literally built it so that they have 80,000 seats there, or no? Yeah, because they can do 100,000, right?
Yeah, they pack
so they have
100.
like 75, 80,000 seats there, which is ridiculous. And they built it to be able to put at least another 20,000 plus just standing there watching it. Brilliant.
That stadium is nice.
Is
I haven't been there. I looked at the Cowboys schedule. I could see what you're talking about, 7-9, but I think they could do 9-7.
You think so? 9-7? I got him 8-8. I don't know, because keep this in mind too. Des Bryant suffered a concussion, so he's going to miss the next preseason.
He might be
game.
smarter now though for that.
he might be, but he
won't be overthinking it. That's the truth.
The first time he takes a headshot, because now that's going to be a thing. You're going to see defensive backs lining up and trying to tee off on him, and the first time he gets
they want to anyway because he runs his mouth.
Yeah,
he's overrated. I'm not a big fan.
A fantasy guy, I like to have him on my team, but
he drops too many passes.
Hey, by the way, just to let you guys know, I'm going to let you know this. I haven't played fantasy football. Let me see here. Last time I played fantasy football was 2010. because I used to
Wow.
play. I used
That
to
was a
play.
long time ago.
I used to play with my. It was me
With
and
yourself?
my.
Yeah.
No, me and my best friend used to play, and because I had never really, I was like, whatever. I just went for the draft and have fun and have a good time.
Right.
And unfortunately, he passed in 11, so I just never really did it after that. So this will be my first time since my boy Vic passed.
Oh,
so,
wow. It's been a while.
Yeah, I'm going to come back.
This will be a different way you've ever played too, because we're not doing team defense. We're doing
players.
We're doing player defense.
Oh, that's going to be different. Okay, cool.
Oh, individual player defense.
Yeah, it makes the draft.
How many you get?
I think you get two linemen, 2 defensive backs, and 2 linebackers.
Oh wow, you get 6 players for that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a ton of extra points you're not expecting.
Yeah. The average scores go by about 100 because you're replacing with the team and the backup team defense with 6 slots instead of 2, so you're getting 4 extra slots. So there's like 5 extra draft picks.
That'd be cool.
That's
I've
a big team.
never played like that.
That's a really big team.
It makes, like I said, it makes it more. The bigger the league, that's what I was telling him. He was in a big league. I try to make more picks instead of doing the teams.
That's pretty cool too, where you can actually involve linemen to actually really mean something.
Yeah,
that's cool.
You make the sacks worth points and the
defensive players show up. Like that's.
Yeah.
I like that.
See, I'm glad someone else
likes
it. It does make it.
I'm a defensive guy, and I think that comes from my baseball background. Playing the catching position.
Yeah, you'll like that then.
I love defense. Nose tackle gets so overlooked. The toughest position in football, I think, by far, the nose tackle. So
when I was a kid and I was bigger, I played defensive tackle.
Did you? Yeah.
So who's winning the NFC East on your guys' side?
Let's see here. Who?
I'm giving it to Philly.
You said East?
I think the Cowboys probably,
got the
honestly.
Cowboys, yep.
If Romo stays healthy, the Cowboys win.
I'm thinking, unfortunately, the Cowboys.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, because I say they're going to be the top of the heap there. And I
They're
mean
gonna be
top
the
of the heap.
smartest kid on the short bus?
Yeah, that's right.
Let's slide over to the North, NFC North.
NFC North.
Made up of Minnesota, Green Bay, Detroit, and
Chicago.
All
right. Now what are we asking? Who do I think is going to win or lose?
From the bottom up. I know a lot
from
of
the
people.
bottom. Now we're here.
All right. I'm thinking Minnesota's in the garbage.
No, you're wrong.
Wow.
You don't think so?
No.
Minnesota.
I'm thinking it's going to be, depending on how Detroit
There's
actually
2
gets to play
playoff
tonight.
teams coming out of this division, in my opinion.
You got Green Bay and Detroit, I'm thinking, would be in the playoffs.
Should be.
But. And, when you got...
Megatron retired, so Detroit's done.
You still have Tate
but
there.
when you've got people...
And they drafted well.
Stafford's crap.
Yeah, but when you have the quarterback that Green Bay does, I mean, you're dumb to root against them at all, or to actually vote against them. I mean, most of the time. So I'd have to take Green Bay taking the top, and then I would think that Detroit. I would have maybe Detroit with like 9-7.
That's bold. I'm
bold.
going the other way around here. I've got
taking Green Bay at top.
No. Well, I've got the Lions. Actually, Lions or Bears. That's going to be a coin toss at the bottom.
For last, I agree with you.
Yeah, and then the Vikings. The Vikings were good last year, and they kept their team together.
They were, but they didn't do anything that needed to be done.
That's why.
But they can play, and I think they give the Packers a run for that division. Packers will take it.
A run
we got
against the Packers.
Got a caller calling.
All right, go ahead.
You're on the Brian Gould Show. Go ahead. Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, you guys are talking about the NFC North right now. I'd just like to chime in. I'm actually from the Detroit area myself.
Oh, okay. And what's your name, sir?
Nate.
Nate. Hey, Nate. Thanks for calling in. So what do you
have?
Hey, Nate.
Hey, back.
How you doing, brother?
NFC North. What do you have for the North here?
You got Green Bay sitting on top, and the rest of the teams, you might as well just stack them up in the crapper.
Wow.
I agree.
You got the way I look at it, you've got Detroit, and it's not because Detroit's good. It's the virtue of Chicago and Minnesota being so poor.
People are forgetting about Minnesota, man.
And then something Brian had actually just mentioned on the air is, Detroit still got Tate, and they draft well. But that's Detroit's thing. They always draft well, and the players never pan out.
Now, do you
get every couple of years you get one great player that pans out. You get Ansah, you get Sue, and then Ansah is going to spend 1 or 2 more years in Detroit, and then he's out himself, guaranteed.
All right, so then when it's all said and done, Detroit, what do you think they end up with as a record at the end of the year?
I don't see Detroit going past 8-8, and again, it's not because Detroit's even good enough to get 8-8. They play in a poor division. I think they beat up on Minnesota twice.
You do realize Minnesota won the division last year, right?
Sorry?
Minnesota won the division last year.
Minnesota won
begrudgingly
last year because Green Bay crapped the bed.
Well, looking at their schedule, I mean, they open up at Indy. That's a loss. Tennessee, that could go either way.
That might be a loss.
That's a home game for Detroit. They could win that. Then they're at Green Bay, at Chicago. And
so they're 1-4 to start the season.
That's right.
They could be 2-2. Chicago, they hold their own with Chicago. Green Bay.
I think Green Bay takes the division at 12-4, and Minnesota gets a wild card out of the division.
Right off the bat, I'm thinking Green Bay stomps Chicago twice, takes Detroit probably, all right, at least once. Minnesota at least once. So I'm thinking they're going to get 4 right off the bat, just in their own division, which is where I'm going to put them at 10-6 when it's all said and done.
Mm-hmm.
Well, their road games. At Indy, at Green Bay, at Chicago, at Houston, at Minnesota, at New Orleans, at the Giants, and at Dallas.
And, you know, I hate to say this, but all games in New Orleans are going to be tough this year because they've got a whole nother Hurricane Katrina situation on their shoulder right now.
They do. That flooding,
You know, here's why I don't agree that Minnesota was just overrated last year, because 2 years ago they were 5-10, or 3 years ago then they were 7-9, and then last year they were 11-5. They've been getting better. They've got a decent quarterback. Bridgewater is okay, and as long as AP is healthy, I mean, they're going to win 7-8 games.
So, Nate, you don't have Green Bay finishing second in that division?
No, I still got Green Bay finishing first.
I agree with that.
Games,
so do I.
The game just doesn't scare me for Green Bay. I think they go into Indy and take care of business.
Nice.
Yeah, well, Andrew Luck's overrated, so is Indy.
Wow.
What have they done since his rookie season?
True. Very true. I agree. He's
actually fallen off pretty considerably every season, including being injured last year.
Yeah,
for
I was going to say,
season.
You know, with the injury though, made a huge difference.
Well, you know what that means? It means you're not durable. You know who the highest sacked quarterback in the NFL the last 4 years is? Ryan Tannehill. He's still playing. Russell Wilson's second highest sacked quarterback in the last 4 years. He's won a Super Bowl.
Wow. So, Nate, you have Minnesota, Green Bay, then coin toss on Chicago and Detroit?
No, he's got Green Bay, Minnesota.
Yeah, I've got Green Bay, Detroit, and then you can swap out either Chicago or Minnesota at the bottom.
Wow. Okay.
I noticed nobody's saying anything for Chicago, no matter what.
Jay Cutler's the quarterback.
I think as long as Jay Cutler's in Chicago,
See, there you go.
We all agree on that.
There you go. Beautiful.
Perfect.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, thank you.
Hey, thanks for calling in, Nate.
Very nice.
I don't understand why everybody sleeps on Minnesota. Bridgewater that was the first round quarterback. AP is still good.
I don't know.
Minnesota hasn't changed from. I mean, I'm looking at their schedule now. It's tougher because of how well they did. They have to go to Carolina.
Yeah,
now they have targets on their back.
I don't think they repeat his division, but look across the NFC. Who's taking the other wild card spot?
But end of the day, they still have to play those same 6 games divisional.
Right, so they're getting at least 4 wins.
4 or 5 wins. Guaranteed. Yeah. And then they have the rest of the league
They should sweep Detroit and they should sweep Chicago, so that puts Minnesota at 4.
But if they don't, they're screwed.
Right.
You know,
exactly.
If they have one bad game against
us,
they're
any
screwed.
Of those. Yeah, they're
done.
I think they got 10-6 on lock, honestly.
And then on top of it, if they do split it with Detroit, you know, we're definitely going to take out Chicago both times, and then they split it with Minnesota. So right there now, already Detroit's right where I said they're going to be. I see them losing 2 against Green Bay. I just do.
And it's disheartening as a Detroit fan to see on paper how many times we've brought a great team to the table and then something happens, an injury, or Stafford's sitting on his ass 2/3 of the game because he's getting sacked all the time, and then we lose Megatron there. And, you know, Golden Tate's going to have a really good season, but, you know, fantasy points.
How old is Golden Tate at this point?
He's been around for a minute.
Yeah.
He's been around for a minute. He's
5-6 years.
Has he only been that long?
I think
I still remember the Notre Dame game that he caught that pass.
Yeah. God, when it comes to sports, that's one thing
it all just kind of runs together.
It does. You're like, God damn.
Golden Tate, here you go. He's only 28 years old.
There you go.
There you go. Well, all right.
5-6 years, right?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. He's only 28 years old. Okay. I thought he was up there a little bit more, but
you know why? Because you just hear his name a lot,
constantly.
Yeah,
a lot.
All right, so you guys, I guess we're kind of all in agreement that Green Bay is going to take that division with the Vikings
relatively easily too. I'm thinking
right behind them. Okay, well then let's move along to the NFC South.
Okay,
made up of Carolina, Tampa Bay, New Orleans, and Atlanta.
It's pretty easy.
Okay. You've got. I'll go first here. I'm thinking it's gonna be Carolina on top. I'm thinking Atlanta and New Orleans. It's gonna end up being a dogfight a little bit, and the only reason why I say with New Orleans is because on top of being not that bad. I mean, not that bad, but they're gonna have one of those years where they're making up for this flood. And that's going to have the extra.
That's true. Drew Brees likes to.
Yep, the extra mojo on his shoulders. Not to mention it's Drew Brees. Drew Brees is a good quarterback. So I'm thinking it'll be a fight. It all depends on how Atlanta and their defense comes out this year. Offensively, I'm thinking that New Orleans takes it. We'll see how the Atlanta defense steps up again this year. So let's go ahead and give the extra mojo to New Orleans. So I'll go Carolina, New Orleans, Atlanta, Tampa Bay. If they end up with 3 wins this year, I'll be excited.
Seriously,
wow.
3 wins for Tampa.
Here's my issue with
wow. Harsh. I hate the Bucs, but that's a little harsh.
Let me tell you why. Because every time you give them the slightest benefit of the doubt,
he hates FSU,
they
by the way.
fall apart. They absolutely fall apart. You know, and I'd like to this year. I'm going to do something a little bit different because I would like to see Tampa Bay come out and win it all. Especially for Tampa, for us in general, for just I've been in the
I don't co-sign to that statement.
I've been in the bar industry, so just to see everybody that I know in the bar industry would be great for it. Okay, but Tampa Bay cannot get out of their own way ever.
That's true.
Ever. So I will be excited if I see a 4th win this year.
Well, I didn't look at their schedule till now. I've glanced at it a few times, but to really dissect it,
they're dead.
Their first 5 weeks, I don't see them winning a game.
That's right. 0-5 start.
They're at Atlanta, at Arizona,
lose,
home against LA,
lose,
home against Denver.
LA,
the
LA's going to win 5 games. Guys.
Come on, no.
Denver's going to kill them.
Jeff Fisher is the most overrated coach in the
Rams
history of the NFL.
Are going to come to Tampa and walk the dog on them.
You're on.
And Denver.
Wait, I'm sorry. LA's coming here.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that never. West Coast teams never travel well.
All right.
And that's the second week of the season?
That's 3. Week 3.
No way.
Yeah, but you know what?
I might bet money on that game with you.
They're okay. They're usually pretty close to us. This is just the first time that they have to make the extra couple hours. No, they're usually, no problem.
St. Louis is still normally way.
And
it was St. Louis before.
Still 2 hours. I know.
They have Denver week 4 and then at Carolina week 5 before their bye week.
By the way, who's Denver's starting quarterback right now?
And that we'll get into that.
That's right, Mark Sanchez.
No, they don't have one. They don't have one. They have Sanchez. They have a rookie.
Take the rookie.
And the rookie's been doing pretty good. He's going to get us probably finish out the last 2 games
for 3 straight for all of training camp and all off season. There's no way we're starting him. He's not ready. That means they're going to be even worse.
Here's a hell of a game.
Here's a good rule of thumb. Okay, if you have a choice between Sanchez to start. Or someone with no legs to start.
Right.
I take the guy in the wheelchair.
That's my point, Evan. That's the situation they have. A rookie quarterback who's not ready to play in the NFL and Mark Sanchez.
And their backup. And they're they have 3 quarterbacks, a tough decision to make, and when you have a tough decision to make, guess what? You don't have a quarterback.
That's my point.
Yeah.
So I can see Denver's going to fall off a mountain. They have a good defense, but
by week 4 they'll have a clue. And they're coming to Tampa.
Well,
their defense is smothering.
This is what's going to happen. You're going to have the rookie quarterback, and he's going to be watching how not to play the game when they put Sanchez in.
Right.
And when Sanchez gets his ass kicked for the first 4 or 5 games and then gets broken, hopefully earlier than that, then he'll have no choice but to go in, but at least he had, a few more hours of watching how professional football is played.
No, Eli watched Kurt Warner get run all over the field in New York for about 10 games before he got a chance to get out there, so...
And you know what? Even if it's one game being able to watch is better than not having that one game. I say sacrifice the body on Sanchez, break that guy. I don't care.
So who's winning that division? The NFC South.
Okay, so already had your Evan. You already went over yours.
Right. Yep.
Atlanta. I don't trust. I don't trust at all.
Their defense,
melty ice. Matt Ryan is a great regular season quarterback. Falls apart. First half regular season quarterback. That team always collapses at the end of the season, always. So regardless how they come out again, I would have to go Carolina winning the division just because it's theirs to lose, and no one has done enough to tell me that they're going to get knocked off.
Right.
New Orleans is always between 7-9 and 9-7 for the last 4 or 5 years. So, like Evan's saying, this year, if they put
they
the
needed
whole
a good natural disaster.
woe is us, chip on our shoulder stuff, I could see them finishing second. I honestly think the Bucs are going to, Evan, I think the Bucs are going to surprise you.
And beat Atlanta?
Remember, new head coach.
I think.
Yeah, I know.
Very dominant.
I could see it being. I could see Carolina either 11-5 or 12-4 taking the division, and then I could see the next 3 teams all clumped together. Like a New Orleans at 9-7, 8-8, and then the Bucs at 8-8 or 7-9, and Atlanta 8-8 or 7-9.
I would love to see the Bucs do that. I really would.
Anybody who watched the Falcons play last year, I believe they were 6-0
at the beginning. Yeah, they were,
and they finished 7-9 for the season.
I believe you're correct.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Or 5-0, and they were 6-1.
Yeah, they blew their load pretty quick.
And that was a new coach that came out fired up. Now, let me tell you something. As being a Dolphin fan and watching how these things work, if they don't come out and get out to a fast start immediately after that first game of the season, they're going to bail on that coach, and they are done. They are done.
That's why pro athletes suck so bad, right there.
Well, New Orleans has a pretty favorable schedule, so
they came on strong at the end of the season last year. They started to get it together a little bit towards the end.
New Orleans got everything going for them.
Drew Brees just getting old.
The middle part of their schedule is pretty tough. They open up pretty soft, but right in the middle, week 6 through week 12, Carolina, Kansas City, Seattle, San Francisco, Denver, Carolina again, and
I don't put Denver right now as a powerhouse anymore.
No, I agree.
Their defense is awesome.
The defense will keep them in games,
exactly.
But
and that's when it's going to come
until
down to
Sanchez is not throwing, they're screwed.
That's when it's going to come down to kicking field goals, and that might be a field goal fest during that game.
With the New Orleans situation, when you just went over their games in the middle of the year, I guarantee you, mark my words, they're going to come out and they're going to win some games. When they go into that tough part of the year,
they'll struggle.
Then they'll start to struggle, but that's when they're going to get the mojo and say, "Hey, look, we're doing it because of."
I don't know if they're a playoff team though, man.
Well, they close
but that's how they're going to end up with winning some games this year.
They close out Detroit, Tampa, Arizona will be tough because that's at Arizona.
You know what? Now you say Tampa's a walk-off win. Tampa gives New Orleans fits. Every year. It's like Miami to New England.
And then home against Tampa, and then they close out at Atlanta. So you might be right with that 7-9 right in the middle. The middle of that division is going to be pretty clumped up. I've got the Panthers taking that.
So say the Panthers might go 10-6 and win the division because everybody else just beats the living crap out of each other in that division.
Right. Panthers winning the division. I think the Saints will come in second, only because the Bucs have a little bit tougher schedule. They might
I
be
think me
one
and Bryant
game better.
agree completely on this division.
And then Atlanta at the bottom.
We do. Oh my gosh.
See, the only way I differ from you guys is I got Tampa at the bottom and Atlanta right just above them. So.
All right. Well, moving along.
Never put your money on Tampa Bay, guys.
No.
Ever.
The NFL NFC West division: Seattle, Arizona, Los Angeles, and San Francisco.
The NFC is really down right now.
Yeah. Are we starting with me again?
Go ahead.
Okay. I'm thinking at this point, until you come to me and show me different. Unfortunately, as much as I hate to say this. With Pete Carroll out there, I think
Arizona didn't show you different last year when they.
I know, but I'm thinking
lost like 2 games.
You have to take Seattle on top. Then, of course, it's LA's first year, so I'm not sure where to put them. They could come out and be a pretty decent team.
They also drafted a quarterback. Their starter requested to be released. That was supposed to be the start, so now he's gone.
Arizona probably is in second. Maybe with San Francisco just behind, and probably being realistic, LA Rams in the basement is probably the way I think it's going to turn out.
Yeah, I've slept on Carson Palmer every single time in my entire life playing fantasy football, and that it pays. The only time I think twice I've tried to lean on him and he's gone out for the season. Carson Palmer will either throw for 4,000 yards and 30 touchdowns.
Or 10.
Or he won't make it past the second game because his knees will explode. Or his elbow or his shoulder.
Right.
And last year, I literally went to draft, or last time we did fantasy football, we sat in here.
Right,
it was for the field club when I was working
right,
there.
yep.
I literally could have drafted him, Brian. It was my pick. I was like, I'm not taking Carson Palmer. Give me a break. I made a huge mistake. So now I'm like waffling because I kind of see what Evan's saying. I see what Evan's saying. Seattle's a playoff team.
Yeah. It's definitely going to make postseason.
But they showed last year that when push came to shove, they couldn't knock Arizona off. but Arizona has to have everything line up, and they're old. They're old as shit.
They're still a good team, but you're absolutely right.
It's a veteran core.
It's very veteran.
And they're one injury away from just falling apart.
What I'm saying. So,
but Fitzy's there, and Fitzy, he's the man. I don't know.
Fitzy's like 34, 35.
Okay.
But you can't will broken bones. You can't.
I'm gonna. Oh man, I'm between Seattle and Arizona. Arizona's fallen back down to earth for sure, but I still think they're solid. They might still be a playoff.
I agree with you.
Damn. I guess. I'll take Seattle to win it, just over Arizona. But I'm gonna say that LA for sure is in the basement on that. I think Jeff Fisher's a joke. I can't believe he's an NFL coach. Honestly,
I've got the Niners sitting at the bottom.
Really? Okay.
Los Angeles, Arizona.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be between the Niners and LA for sure.
And I think right now, I mean, St. Louis / LA, the Rams were fairly decent last year. I think they have it together a lot better than the 49ers do now.
And I tend to agree with you here. The only reason why I've got LA in the basement is just because going over the past and being realistic, people's first years.
Here's
if they San Francisco, I don't think is a good team.
No.
So I would put them normally in the basement. But I'm going to go ahead and give the nudge to L.A., so I can totally see San Francisco in the basement.
Well, in case people are thinking I'm being a dick to Jeff Fisher, this is why I think the Rams are going to struggle. Seriously, I'm not being a joke. How he still has a head coaching job right now, after I read that, he's the Mark Sanchez of coaching. I'm not joking you. Here, he's been the coach for St. Louis, now L.A., for 4 seasons. You ready for his record, Evan? Last season, 7-9. Year before that, 6-10. Year before that, 7-9. Year before that, 7-8-1. Year before that, he was fired from the Titans. Why? 6-10. Year before that, 8-8. Oh, but wait, he had a 13-3 season, and a 10-6, and then an 8-8, and a 4-12, and a 5-11. The guy is just not that good of a coach. He's had a few good seasons. He went to the Super Bowl, lost. He's a garbage coach. They've not won more than 7 games in 4 years. Come on. Now they're drafting another. He drafted what's his name? Sam Bradford. That was a mistake.
Horrible.
He bombed.
Yep.
Now he's drafted another quarterback, and somehow they have faith in him again. No way. LA will be lucky if they win 3 games.
Not an LA fan, huh?
Fisher's terrible.
Well, they drafted. They had the #1 pick overall.
They got Goff.
Yep, from Cal. And that's a developmental thing. That's going to take a few seasons to pan out for that guy. They drafted. Looking at it here, tight end from Western Kentucky, wide receiver, another tight end. They went with a lot of offense in their draft, and that says that they're And don't forget that one guy named Gurley that happens to run all over the NFL.
Yeah. Now here's another question for you. Talk about the team itself. It's their first year as in LA. Do you think they are going to become an immediate success in the city?
If they do decent.
Oh, yes. I don't even think the first year they really need to do that well. I think at home is all they really need to do well at.
Season tickets and tickets in general, season ticket holder passes and stuff, and season tickets in general sold out the first day.
Really?
Yeah,
nice.
That was gone. And coincidentally, Magic Johnson bought into the team and owns a small share there. But
he got rid of the Lakers
to
do that, yeah.
Correct. Mm-hmm. And with that already ramped up the way that it is, it's going to be San Diego that moves in and tries to split and piggyback off of that. I think that's what's going to end up happening is the Chargers are going to
go for. I know LA's going to go from no teams to they have too many teams.
Exactly, and that's what's going to happen, and then it's going to water down, and however it pans out from there. So instant success, yes, they already are, and they've yet to play a regular season game, and they're sitting 2-0 preseason. Granted, it's only preseason, but when you're winning games,
it doesn't matter when or how.
Right, and you're going to get a great fan push behind it.
Well, that's not true. It doesn't matter when or how, unless apparently if you're Tim Tebow,
right,
then it does matter.
Then you have to win a specific way.
Yeah, and you have to win every single one.
Yeah.
By the way, Jeff Fisher, since he's been with the Rams, he is 27-36-1. I'll go check that out. I got it out.
Very nice. All right, you want to go to the next one?
Well, we can. Or
do you want to go?
Do you guys want to break away for a second and then come back and do the break down the AFC conferences?
Yeah, we can go to break. That's absolutely fine.
All right, cool.
That's absolutely fine.
All right, guys. Well, we are going to take a quick break here. After the break, we'll cover the AFC divisions and break that down. And
so excited.
Who's in and who's out?
Oh, I'm in, baby. I'm in.
Nice.
this is Chuck from the BS Show. I want you guys to go check out the best Italian restaurant I've ever been to, Dolce Italia. It's at 6551 Gateway Ave. Their phone number for reservations, 941-921-7007. Guys, when I say this food's amazing, I've been all over the country, all over the world. This is the best Italian food I've ever had. Authentic, unbelievable stuff. Gotta go check it out.
Hi, I am Tiziana. I come from Naples. I own Dolce Italia, Italian restaurant in Gulf Gate, 6551 Gateway Avenue. Come to try our wonderful food. Mangia bene, ridi spesso, ama molto. Eat well, laugh often, love much.
Tune in to Goddess Gossip.
We could talk about how I'm not a Star Wars person.
Okay, yeah, we should talk about that.
Now that Jay's back too. I like Star Wars, and it's not that I don't like it, I've just never seen it. Well, I can't say I like them all, and I don't know. I guess I've never been like a diehard Star Wars, but like I can follow it, and I've always gotten it, and like I like stars, and I don't like wars, but I like galaxy shit, and like the cosmos. You're so literal. You sound so blonde and basic. I really am.
Well, I like stars, but I don't like war, so
I am basic.
But like,
I'm
so
super basic and super blonde, so tune into our show Goddess Gossip Saturdays, 10 p.m. to 12 a.m.
Gulfgate, Sarasota, it's time to eat, and there's only one place to go. Ham Heaven and Devil Dogs, 2647 Mall Drive in Gulfgate. Try the one-of-a-kind filet mignon sliders or the award-winning Reuben sandwich, voted best in the state of Florida. Ham Heaven and Devil Dogs is open Monday through Saturday till 3 a.m. So after the bars close, you can get some of the best food in Sarasota. Call in and place your order today at 941-923-2514. That's 941-923-2514. Check them out online at hamheavenanddevildogs.webs.com or on facebook.com/HH&DD.
Hey, this is Paulie from the BS Show. When I'm out and about, having too many, it happens to us all, there's only one cab service I call. It's my ride. 941-400-6606. No more three-time surcharges. No more drivers that don't speak English, don't know where you're going. They pick you up, they take you home safely, clean cars. They're professionals. They know exactly what they're doing. And when you're riding with My Ride, don't forget to mention the BS Show, 20% off your ride. Chucky, on occasion, will have too much.
Not me, Paul.
These guys are the best. They're what you want to call. They will take care of you. 941-400-6606. My Ride. It's not your ride. It's not his ride.
My ride.
It's my ride.
Hello, this is Captain Sherman of Paradise Boat Tours, and if you're looking for a great adventure on our beautiful local waters, then we are the boat tour for you. Check out our website at seadolphins.com. We leave 7 days a week from Bradenton Beach Pier on beautiful Anna Maria Island. It's fun for the whole family, and yes, we see wild dolphin 95% of our tours. Paradise Boat Tours. Call us at 941-465-8624. Like us on Facebook or go to seadolphins.com. Here, Flipper.
So, Evan, you want to make the other announcement? I know you're excited and happy.
We do have a fantastic new sponsor, absolutely. We are now very lucky to have Rico's Pizza as a sponsor for us. 6547 Gateway Avenue in Gulfgate. They're open from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m., 7 days a week. They've been there 17 years. Jump online, ricospizza2go.com. Give them a phone call at 941-922-9604. We did find out today that you mentioned the 444 Radio or the BS show from 444 Radio, you will get 20% off your tab. Give them a phone call, guys, 941-922-9604 or ricospizza2go.com.
How you doing? This is Chuck from the BS Show. I would like to tell you about a great company, Sarasota Sign Machine, LLC, the exclusive sign and print sponsor for 444 Radio. A sign of quality you can trust, located at 601 North Washington Boulevard, celebrating 6 years in business and over 20 years of experience in Sarasota. If you need signs, banners, vehicle magnets, custom design, neon repair, business cards, printing, and more, trust the Sarasota Sign Machine. Look, let's be honest, you have so much more to think about when running your own business. Call us at 941-302-4275. Check us out on Facebook or at sarasotasignmachine.com. A sign of quality you can trust. Tell them the BS Show sent you.
Evan, we've lived here 6 months and this bathroom still looks terrible. You're supposed to help me remodel it by now.
I know. You just know how busy I am, though.
Busy? We've got to get this done. If I can't do it because I don't have time and you don't have time, what are we going to do?
I know who to call.
Hello, my name is Stephen Dennis. I own a business here in town called Needaman2 LLC. My email address is needaman2@gmail.com. My number is 941-232-2776. Again, that's 941-232-2776.
Oh my gosh, this looks amazing.
What a great idea.
I'm Dr. Sean Stringer. Me and Dr. Philip Nikeo are the newest members of the 444 radio lineup. We'll cover weight loss, health issues, mental health issues, and we'll talk with top health, wellness, and personal development gurus in the industry. You can even call in with your questions and much, much more. Trust me, I'm a doctor. Wednesday nights from 7 to 9 on 444 radio.
Hey guys, how we doing? This is Evan from the Bean and Soup Bed Show. I'm here with Rita from J-Dubs Brewing Company, and we're in studio. How are we doing today, Rita?
Good, how are you?
Excellent. Hey, I know you have a fantastic brewery over there. Please tell me a little bit about it.
The brewery itself has a tasting room. It has 10 tap lines, so you can find anything that you want, from a light to a dark flavor.
So whatever you like, you can get it?
Absolutely, we got a flavor for you.
Perfect. Also, tell me a little bit about the beer garden I've been hearing so much about.
We got a big backyard out back. We're kid-friendly, we're dog-friendly, so you can come bring your family and friends and just have a good time, play some games, and drink some beer.
Excellent. And then you guys got food?
Absolutely. We got food trucks every day around 5 o'clock. We're open Wednesday through Sunday, noon to midnight.
Excellent. Hey, I hear a rumor that you guys do something cool over there on Wednesdays.
We do. We have free yoga on Wednesday evening starting at 6:30. Come hang out and drink a beer and stretch it out.
That sounds like a great way to spend a Wednesday, I'll tell you. It's 1215 Mango Avenue, Sarasota, Florida, 941-955-2739. And what about social media?
Go to jdubsbrewing.com and you'll find everything right there.
You guys are by far the best brewery in town, and we're proud to have you guys as our sponsor. Come on out there, have a drink with us, and we'll sit around and have a good time.
Cheers, guys.
Looking for the best breakfast place in Sarasota? Look no further. Downtown Word of Mouth, the official breakfast and lunch restaurant of the BS Show, located at 711 South Osprey Avenue, Sarasota. Open 7 days a week. And for special catering events, call 941-365-1800. Don't forget, we are pet friendly with our doggy dining. Like us on Facebook, Word of Mouth SRQ, Downtown Word of Mouth. Tell them the BS Show sent you.
Welcome back, everybody. We are live from the Body, Mind, and Wellness Center here in Sarasota, Florida. We've got a special guest helping us out with the second half of the NFL AFC conference standings. We've got Murdoch in studio. Say hey, Murdoch.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Murdoch's a great fantasy guru of mine, and brought him in today to help with the NFL breakdown here. We're going to do the AFC East, and in that division we have the Patriots, the Jets, the Bills, and the Dolphins. And we'll keep in order here. We'll kick it off with Evan. Evan, who do you have? If you want to take it top to bottom, we'll go top to bottom or bottom to top.
All right, let's go bottom to top.
All right.
I'm thinking no matter what happens, you got it's gonna be a race for the bottom. I'm thinking at this point. You got Buffalo with horrible coaching is going to be in the basement. I'm thinking when it comes to Miami and the Jets, Miami, I don't know. You think they go 6-10 this year? All right, I'll give you Miami 6-10, and the Jets.
We went 6-10 last year with Philbin coaching.
I know.
Bite me.
I know, but we'll go 6-10, and then the Jets. I've got no faith in them. Maybe 7-9 at the best. So all right, I'm going to go New England, Jets, Miami, Buffalo. I think the way it's going to go.
Jay?
As much as I hate, and everybody hates New England, but they're going to be.
I feel like I have to almost recuse myself from this one because I'm almost blindly a Dolphins fan. Brady's missing the first 4 games.
Yeah.
Last time he was out, though, it didn't make that much of a difference.
When he was out last time, right?
No, last time they went 11-5 for the season.
Okay, but not to cut you off. No Brady the first 4 games, but who are their first 4 games against? no one's looking at that. At Arizona,
right? Then Miami,
home against Miami, home against the Texans, and home against the Bills. So
that's
those
3-1 at worst.
Yeah, but 2 division games without your starting quarter. Anything happens in a division game. First of all,
but at home,
you think they're gonna
3 home games?
Just think of all the cheating that's going to happen. Okay, I mean they're probably going to win 500
but the master cheater won't be out there.
A lot of hard balls instead of softballs in that one.
You notice that New England, when they do their preseason stuff, they have the practices, the joint practices. They do not do joint practices against the AFC teams. They only do NFC teams.
Ever.
For that reason, because if you're going to cheat or if you're going to check out my stuff, it will not be used against me during the regular season. I will let you beat me in the postseason or after it's all done, but no.
And by the way, Brian, you're forgetting the last couple years, especially last year, they've been starting off really slow. And they're going to start off without Brady on top of that.
Okay.
And without Deion Lewis.
This is your analysis of the division. So
Deion Lewis is out 10 weeks. And you've got, James White coming on. That's going to be your receiving back, your third down back.
They have some offensive line hurting too.
Yeah,
look, it's still their division to lose. Yeah. I'm not an idiot. I'm a Dolphins fan, but I'm not stupid.
Oh, no matter what goes wrong, they're gonna win. I'm thinking they're gonna take first place no matter what. Even if your Dolphins come out and have a great year.
I agree with you, Evan. I think the Bills are. Everyone's going to have Taylor figured out, and Rex Ryan's just
he's
only
a
defensive coach.
He's
He's a player's coach, but that's it. He can't.
Yeah,
that's really the extent of it. He's an 8-8 coach.
And the Patriots drafted defense too.
Yes.
So you think that Buffalo is on the bottom? They're in the basement in this.
Well, Fitzpatrick's going to come back down to earth too, like a lead balloon.
That guy got overpaid, but sorry,
not even overpaid. He just. I mean, that was the best season he had of his career.
Ever
last year,
and that's when he got all his money.
I mean, I think 2nd through 4th is going to be really, really tight together. I think Miami's either going to be 2nd or last.
I agree.
No, that's where I'm at.
That could be true.
If Tannehill comes out and has the season he should have, then they should be pushing the Patriots. But if he comes out and the last 16 years have gone, then we win 5 or 6 games. So I mean, that's what I'm saying. I got to kind of excuse myself. I mean.
You're absolutely right. Because
that's fair.
No matter what happens, Buffalo's going to suck. They're going to absolutely suck.
I think so.
So Miami at least has the outside chance of coming out, pulling their shit together, doing what they're supposed to do, and they could go ahead and turn out and have a great year.
They do. That coach being different than what it was the beginning of last year. You have some new additions, and you also have some guys that didn't, fulfill their talent. Jordan Cameron, big deal. That was.
Yeah.
I mean,
if he can play,
and they're hungry. They're hungry about it.
When he and they persuaded him to stay, as
he took a pay cut.
That Jordan said, "You know what? I'm out of here." And they're like, "Wait a minute, let's give this thing another minute." And he has the talent. Parker's a year older. He's going to be a stud.
He looked
on the
amazing
side.
in the little bit of time he played last year.
Man, I'm telling you what, Stills, you got Parker, you've got
in
Landry.
the starting action against Dallas. I know Miami lost big time in preseason, but man, Tannehill played great against the Dallas defense, which I don't know what that really says.
And they scooped up 2 young rookie wide receivers, so that offensively that team's going to really be something. Actually, they grabbed 3 receivers.
They definitely have a question mark next to him. I mean, so if it turns out to be a good question mark, it could be very ugly for everybody who's playing them.
Mm-hmm. The Ryan Tannehill last year, disappointed.
He still didn't have that bad of a year, though.
He did not. But
4,000 yards.
As far as how people were seeing him, not his feet not touching the ground because he was almost a demigod. That's how I saw him. I thought he was going to come in there and stroke out last year, and I missed. I had him on my fantasy team.
Well, that's because Philbin and Laser actually, I think, did stroke out. Because,
but if he's given that opportunity to do what he can do, I know first one's on me, the second one's on you. I'll give you that first opportunity. I'm not ready to count them out yet.
But
in fact, I'm going to say they're going to finish second.
The Dolphins do not have a very favorable schedule going into their bye week.
Arian Foster.
I mean, they're at.
If Foster stays healthy.
If he stays healthy, and that's you mentioned, X factors and
last
question marks.
year, now I'm spacing on what's his name from Georgia who blew his knee. No, Sean Marino.
Yeah.
First game of the season, he carried the team. Next game, he blew his knee out, and that was it.
I remember that. That was some time ago, and No Sean had the goods.
Here's something else though. When Miami, even if they're having a good year, it always seems like the second they come to where they come to an impasse and this is not going well, we've got to recover. It seems like they never recover.
Yeah.
Ever.
Well, that's
they come
Marino.
off the gas pedal. They do.
Yeah.
They really do.
As soon as
adversity is not their strong suit.
Somebody gets in their head for 1 second. They think down about themselves for 1 second. It's like a virus. It takes over the entire team.
We had a vice principal coaching our damn team. Gum wrappers on the ground.
You've got the Patriots, the Dolphins,
And then probably the Jets and Bills.
Jets and Bills. All right. Murdoch.
I have New England for the fact that they're New England. Their team's great. You know, they are who they are. Their staff is.
Until Brady retires, they own that division.
Yeah. So
12 guys on the field at all times.
Yeah, that's right.
Considering the guy they pay in the stripes.
So they'll enjoy that, that run while they have it, and
while they pay for it,
and they do. So I have them at number 1. Number 2, I do have Miami. I think Miami, and I prognosticate. This is what I do. I think about what's going to happen in front. I had Brian out. You were with me when I had the Gators at 30-1 to win the basketball tournament back when Joakim Noah played for the team. I had Arizona at 10-1 to win the Super Bowl. Every year I make plays, and this year I can see where if I'm going to be given a certain number, not to turn this into a handicapping show, but if Miami is going to give me good money at 2-1 that they're going to finish second, whatever that number is, I'm going to take advantage of those opportunities that I'm given. And Miami, I think, as we just discussed, for those reasons, they have a real good chance to do. What
Vegas had them at 7. I think they got the Bills at 7 and the Jets at 8. So they got everybody.
It's one injury.
Grouped.
Brady gets hurt one time, and to your point about the adversity, if Miami can stand up and have a little resolve, there's a shot, and that's all you're looking for is that opportunity.
If Miami can come out and beat Seattle on the road to start the season off under a new coach and everything, that could change the entire. Then you go into New England without Brady. Then all of a sudden you blow Brady out. Yeah.
If Sue can actually pretend like he was,
Miami has no
hungry again,
no bench.
If he remembers that it's Detroit for a game, and he plays like he was in Detroit, then yeah.
Yeah. You're talking about watching film. Sue was triple teamed in college. I watched his collegiate career. And he was gifted. I mean, really a special guy to watch. So I'm going to send him a letter and ask him real nice if he can try a little harder this year and do something for us.
Dear asshole.
Take that $120 million contract he signed.
Number 3, I have the Jets. They brought Matt Forte in, and he's going to split time with Powell. I'll put the little fantasy crumbs next to these conversation points. Powell is going to get half those carries. They're talking about it, and now, Matt's not going to be the Forte that he was when he was with Chicago. He's really gifted. He's going to be able to offer the team quite a bit, but look for a split there, maybe 60-40 or even 55-45. It's not going to be all Matt. Marshall's a stud. He's come out and done his thing. Eric Decker is real quietly one of the better receivers in the league as well. They have him slated for 8 touchdowns, and that doesn't suck.
That makes sense, because when he went to New York, I laughed. I was like, well, his career's over.
And resurrected. He came off the ground and said, not only will I do okay, but I'll do fantastic. And he's on the other side of Brandon. The tight end, Fitzy's not it's a guy named JC, and he's got to get a little bit of rapport with these guys. He hasn't played in a month. He's just now getting there. They just signed him, so he's behind. What I do like, and speaking of dark horses, Bryce Petty. Write that name down, stick it in an envelope, and take that out in about 4 months. And if he's your quarterback for the Jets, you can send in a thank you card to me, and go buy some product for Bryce Petty with the autographs on eBay or a short-term investment, because I think Bryce has an opportunity. If given, when Ryan fills the bed, and he may fill the bed.
He will.
You don't get to be that age and then drag your feet and not get into camp, and that happens every year too. Some guy says, I'm going to hold out first game, bang, and now he's out 8 weeks. And that's all Bryce needs. Bryce came in last week and hung 2.5 on him with a few touchdowns, and he loves those guys. His arm's real strong. He was a Baylor kid, so
you've got New England, Miami,
the Jets,
New York, and then
Buffalo. The wheels are going to come off in Buffalo this year.
It could get messy. Man. It could really get messy.
I think somebody loses their job halfway through the year. I'm hoping.
No, okay. Well,
the ownership came out and said it's playoffs or you're fired already,
and that's why
And then he immediately guaranteed Super Bowl win.
Well, Patriots division. It's not even a 4-team division. It's Patriots division. I think the Bills are going to overachieve.
Really?
Okay. Well,
why?
Why?
4 wins.
The 2 games that they played against the Patriots, they were winning, and a turnover late in the game against New England the first time. They're charging down the field. New England just scored. Momentum's on Buffalo's side. They're charging down the field. Threw away the ball. It was simple mental mistakes.
Tyrod Taylor is a joke.
Simple mental mistakes that cost them key games that kept them from the playoffs.
You don't think they just played?
Tyrod Taylor is just like Colin Kaepernick. Those mobile people, it takes a while for teams to completely figure them out, and then once they do, done.
I think he's a playmaker.
I think a lot of times teams that are awful and that bad play at a better level when they're playing a good team like that. They got into the moment. They got excited. They did well. But the second, once again, there was any pressure to get it done, they fell apart.
They lost 4 games by 6 points or less last season. And I think they improve. I just do. I see New England winning the division.
Falling apart the second there's any stress.
I see Buffalo coming out of nowhere and pulling it out.
Losers.
So Johnny Doofer is going to put on a jersey.
Hey.
Doug Flutie, I hear, is coming back.
The New
50.
York Jets sitting at
no
third.
Carlos Williams, by the way, with Buffalo.
And Miami sitting on the bottom. They won't figure it out.
Basement.
They won't figure it out.
I'm sorry. I'm going to say something right now. Not just as a Dolphins fan. If Miami didn't win less than 6 games with Philbin as the coach here for 4 years, there is no chance in hell that they win less than that with anybody else at coach. Philbin will never be another head coach for the rest of his life. He took 2 spots down to get another NFL job.
And
they still won 6 games. With Philbin for 4 games and then with Dan Campbell.
I hear what you're saying.
And
but
they won
like
6
I said,
games.
those first 6-7 games for Miami is not favorable. I don't like their schedule. They have a very tough schedule.
Divisional game against New England without their quarterback.
You're calling out one game. You're at Seattle, at New England. You'll beat the Browns at home.
Okay, so that's 2-1.
Okay, you won't win in Cincy.
Browns.
We've beat Cincinnati 3 games in a row, including in prime time.
Not this year.
Are you serious?
You might beat Tennessee. You won't beat the Steelers.
Tennessee. We beat Tennessee by like 170 points last year.
And
that's
the
past,
Bills and
man.
Jets, that's what the first 6-7 games. I see
what
it 3
hell?
and 4.
I don't know
about the Cincy game.
Yeah, explain that to me.
Here, I'll shed some.
Not going to win that game.
I'll be the devil's.
Did you say that the last 3 times too? When Cameron Wake walk-off sacked for safety in prime time?
I'm not watching the History Channel. I'm talking about today.
well, let's talk about today then. Let's talk about Eifert not being able to grab a football
and
move in one
I'm
direction.
Sorry.
So Eifert can't touch the ball. Marvin Jones is with your Detroit Lions.
Isn't history the best indicator of future results? Isn't that a quote?
Well,
I'm pretty sure it is.
Definition of insanity.
No, actually, insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results, which is practice.
Which is
that's
going
called
to
the
happen.
Lions program.
It's coming from a Raiders fan.
I kind of like the Raiders a little bit.
Oh, they're winning that division.
Whoa. Let's
we'll get there.
I know we're
there.
emotional right now, but
we'll get there.
Wow.
Let's take a minute. Let's take a
Holy
breath.
shit. Did that just happen?
It's going to.
He just lost all sports credibility.
That's it.
in that
This
one
show
statement.
now. Thank you for tuning into the second and final show. All right. So who are you taking? Whose turn is this?
I want to hear how he thinks Cincinnati's just going to wipe the floor with the team they haven't been able to beat in a decade.
Well, let's start. Let's finish the AFC East first.
We're done with the East. That's it. I've got the Patriots, the Bills, the Jets, the Dolphins, and we're moving along to the AFC North.
Okay.
Pittsburgh, Cincy, Baltimore, and Cleveland. Jay. We'll switch it up this time.
I'm going first now?
I'm gonna blindside. Yeah, I know it. I'm blindsiding
Which
you. With
division are we in?
See?
The North.
I wasn't paying any attention. North?
North.
North is probably, I would say it's the Steelers to lose. And then the Bengals in second. The Ravens in third, because Flacco's already proven now in the last couple of seasons that unless he has an absolute Ray Lewis-like defense, he's not going to win. He's not going to save your season.
From rapist to murderer?
And, of course, if the Browns... I mean, unless RG3 all of a sudden becomes a quarterback...
Never going to happen.
Then the Browns should continue to finish last. You know why I'm going with that? Because the history since the Browns have been reincarnated, Brian, has dictated that. I think they've had, 1 winning seasons since they've been back?
That's the only thing that might actually work for Cleveland because
there's no stress?
RG3 has no choice.
And his wife just left him because he's the quarterback
to
of the Browns.
either win or die.
That's awesome.
Those are his 2 options as a football player.
Yeah, but when you're facing the Steelers twice a year and the Bengals and the Ravens, that's pretty much 0-6, 1-5 for them right off the bat.
Bingo.
2-4 if they're lucky.
Or check this out: once again, if you're facing some good teams, that might make you step up to win. Who knows? RG3 is not going to do it, but I could be. It's possible. It's a possibility. All right, I'm going to go ahead and say I definitely think you've got Captain Rapist as the quarterback for Pittsburgh. He might have. I think he squeaks out first place.
If they're healthy, if Roethlisberger's healthy, he's too good of a quarterback. He's
just too strong.
He's too good.
He's too goddamn strong.
I hate the Steelers.
Me too.
But
I hate it.
I'm just
so you got to take them for first. I'm thinking Baltimore. Baltimore.
Hold on, real quick, Evan. I just realized something too. I love how he says past doesn't matter, but when he's naming out things,
of course.
well, last year they were 6 games within 1 point. Last year doesn't matter, Brian.
This is sports.
Last year doesn't matter.
This is sports.
We're talking about the North Division now, not that old stuff.
Oh, because I just busted you in your BS.
Bringing up old
gentlemen, when it's sports, you use any stat you have to make sure that you're ahead. It doesn't matter
by any means necessary.
Yes.
That's right. All right, so I'm saying Pittsburgh at first. I'm gonna say Baltimore just inches ahead of Cincinnati. And Cleveland
see that happening too,
and Cleveland falling apart.
Murdoch.
I'll splash the pot with a little bit of that fantasy information as I give my picks. Pittsburgh, I do think is going to win that division. Sammy Coates is going to take Bryant's position. They're looking for him now. He looks comfortable.
I agree with you.
And if you were going to make a short-term investment, I would take and find whatever prop you could get on Sammy Coates catching, 50 catches, 4 touchdowns. Find that number and make that play. It's going to be a big play. Don't chase the Antonio Brown sexy special where, it's 120 catches for X yards. Look, he's going to do what he's going to do. I mean, that guy's a freak of nature. Find that other option that's on that team to make that play, and I like Coates. Bell is now getting 3-game suspension instead of 4.
Yes, that got reduced.
That's a big deal. And in fantasy, you're talking about 4 games is a third of the year.
Right.
So if you're getting now 3 games, he was already a first-round guy. I could argue that he's going to give you what Freeman would give you in the entire year. That Bell's going to give that to you. He hasn't played in 10 months. So he's going to touch that ball. D'Angelo Williams is real nice, but I think they're head and shoulders. Their defense is a little soft, but they're going to do what they need to win. Cincinnati, they picked up Boyd, the kid from Clemson, and to take Jones' spot at number 2 on the other side of AJ Green. Jeremy Hill, not a huge fan. Bernard's nice, kid played North Carolina, but it's not fluid. It's not doesn't flow down easy.
It's not put together yet. It really isn't.
It's kind of like listening to you talk about Oakland and Detroit. It's kind of tough.
Wow.
It's kind of tough to do.
Wow.
You have one and then the other. Like, man. So I'll take that shot when I can.
Nicely. So I like this guy.
Cincinnati's number 2. Baltimore. I'm not going to tell you that I'm a Flacco fan. He did wear your helmet or the likeness of it at Delaware, and he looked a lot like.
He wanted to be a Michigan boy. He couldn't hack it, though.
He's got an arm. They paid him. He got hurt.
I don't mind Flacco at all. I mean, for the kind of football player he is to do what he does, and seem to pull it out when all chips are down, he pulls it out.
You said
and he's like a normal guy. It seems like he's a normal everyday guy who achieves way beyond his means.
They drafted Perriman last year. He never played because of an injury. Stevie goes out with an injury. Everybody and their mother was hurt. I mean, the beer guy in Section 113 couldn't walk because he was hurt. So everybody got hurt, man. Suggs. You wanted me to go on and on, but there's a whole list. And now this year, you've got Benjamin Watson, the tight end that used to play with Breeze. They need a tight end, and so that's that. You get Perriman that's going to come back, a first-round pick, like Dexter Fowler. You guys spoke probably about Jacksonville. Dexter Fowler didn't play last year, and he's going to make an impact. He's fiending. I mean, he's bleeding out of his mouth with his own teeth. He's ready to play, and I think that Perriman, being a first-round pick last year that never got to play, he's an addition to that team, along with Terrence West, who's had multiple touchdowns this year already.
You're talking about Jacksonville. Matter of fact, I think they end up taking in the South. I think
they're the flashy pick.
Place.
We're getting there.
We're going to have a show for the sexy sleepers of the year. Let's make those bets.
I agree.
So that's Baltimore. I like their additions. Kenneth Dixon, a dynasty mode. If you have a dynasty fantasy where you get to keep a guy down the road, stud. Kenneth Dixon may find some time in that field. This year if. Just when the coach says, they're doing great. Justin Forsett's exactly where we want him to be, and that's what they said. Quote, he looks just like the Pro Bowler that he was 2 years ago. Immediately turn around and grab his backup because he's not going to be
not
there.
Even remotely close.
Terrence West may get that job, but I have Cleveland. Barnage is nice at tight end. He's been in the league. I think he's older than I am, but he's been doing real well, and I think Gary's a nice play there. They have a ton of offensive players that they drafted. Coleman, that was a Baylor kid, just like RG3.
Yep.
Oh, so RG throws a touchdown the other day, and he immediately grew 1.5 feet. I mean, he swelled up, and he looked good.
RG3 has looked better in preseason.
I look better, after I work out.
But to be fair, he didn't look good in preseason that last season that he was playing.
I'm a Redskin fan.
Well, confidence breeds confidence. It's only one step at a time. So,
Pryor looks
we'll see how it
good.
turns out.
Mm-hmm. And
as a receiver
at the halfback, you have a timeshare. You've got Isaiah, Crowell, and you have Duke Johnson. If you have to pick between one or the two, don't pick any of them. So I have Cleveland
at
on the bottom. Poor Joe Thomas.
I think it's just straightforward. Pittsburgh, Cincy, Baltimore, and Cleveland. I think Baltimore is going to figure a lot of things out this season, and next season I think that's their division. I think the Steelers and Bengals time is up, and I think the Ravens are going to take over that division.
He was talking big about the Bengals a second ago. I don't know.
Well, the Bengals are still hot. They finished 12-4 last year. They still had a good record.
How'd that work in the playoffs, how hot they were?
Hey, well.
They walked in and got steamrolled.
They did.
To be fair,
but they're still
how did Miami do?
To be fair, you're right. To be fair, they were all together watching other teams play in the Super Bowl.
Yes,
if really you want to go there.
Yeah, ultimately.
Are we going to get a collection together for...
Here we go.
Andy Dalton, so that if he does win his first playoff game, that we can send him like a cake?
Yeah, because that's never going to happen, so I'll put a lot of money in that.
Now, I have a real question.
I like Andy Dalton.
I have a real question.
He's a great regular season quarterback.
Yeah.
Are we going to go ahead? Ryan. Are we going to go ahead and implement the arrest pool this year?
Why not?
We could talk about that.
Last year you were disappointed because it took a few weeks.
No, because nobody played. But
no, we played. But remember,
did we play?
That was the longest stretch into the season I think the NFL had gone without someone getting arrested.
We're gonna have to do it for
3 weeks.
We're gonna have to do it for some.
Is Ray Caruth on the list still?
Everyone. Well, let me explain. Let me explain how the arrest pool works.
That's a death penalty pool. That's different.
What you do with the arrest pool is there are 32 teams. It's a blind draw. You put in, let's say, I don't know, we wouldn't, but let's say $20 a team. You put in your $20 and you blind draw the team. When they're all sold out, the second football starts, and it's you pull your team. The first touch of the toe starts in the active NFL year. You date and time it. Then what happens is you wait, and I actually have a app for it. You wait, and the second somebody gets arrested, if he's on your team, you take the money. Then you do it again. You sell it out again.
Nice.
Date and time at the second the last one sold.
It happens a lot.
The 1 year was 16 times.
Oh, wow.
16 times. We were doing it so quick that while we were filling it back up...
that 1 week there was
people were losing. And that was the year that... Tank Abbott. Jesus.
Wrong sport, buddy.
It was... who the hell was it? Who got busted in the strip club like 5 times? Pac-Man Jones got busted in a 3-month period. Got busted like 4 times. He paid out a lot. So we'll have to get that to go. We have to get that going because that's a funny as hell way to do it, and it also shows what a bunch of scumbags they are.
All right, let's move along to the AFC South. Very interesting division. Indianapolis, Houston, Jacksonville, Tennessee.
That might be the most competitive division in football this year.
I agree with you. I think so.
Oof.
And it's unfortunate because there's 2 good teams in there that I kind of have a heart for that won't.
All right. Well, let me jump in the pool first here, and I'll share some information here. Indianapolis, it's all about Andrew Luck being all right in between his ears. If he's okay, I mean, the guy's a consummate,
Yeah, they take it.
If he's okay, though, like I said earlier, it's been
he's okay.
Not even counting the injury. I feel like he peaked already. Yeah. That's not good.
There's some value of that nature that's already built into him. Where he's going 60th, 6-0. He's going 60th overall in fantasy. He was the first pick overall, top 3 pick overall every single year. Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady,
Drew Brees.
Drew Brees has been fantastic and was always drafted behind Luck. Luck is the next Superman. He's the next Peyton Manning. So he gets hurt, a lacerated spleen. He gets hurt. And how much of that was known, and how much of it, did he play through? Variables that I don't know. X factors, call it what you'd like, but there is a brace yourself for impact with that.
When you have an athlete and a guy who is so good at his position as he can be, who has something to prove like he does right now, bet on that guy.
And I'm going to bet on him.
Yeah.
My money is going to go there. Yeah, you can't win them all.
Right.
You know, if you can win
that's true.
You can fail 7 out of 10
My
times.
problem is when you take someone like that out of college that's already seems to be, they're great, but when they've already almost, they're at the ceiling. They're up against it, squished. You're seeing what you're getting, and that's it.
You haven't seen a guy like Andrew come out of college and immediately impact his team since Peyton did it.
The way that he did it, too.
He came out with it out of his pants and said, here it is, I'm going to do this, and
the
this
Colts
is how I'm gonna get down.
also tanked that season. If you really honestly believe they were a 2-win team that year, I got some bridges to sell you.
Dikembe Mutombo can tell you about tanking season so you can get number 1 picks overall. I'm hurt, coach? Yeah, man, sit down. But okay. I digress. I like luck to bounce back, and Frank Gore is getting younger. They say you turn 30 and
Frank Gore's a beast, man.
He doesn't fumble. He's getting stronger. And
the game gets slower for him.
There's nobody else in the backfield to give him competition. I think he's going to do real well. Fleener went to New Orleans, so now it's Dwayne Allen and only Dwayne Allen. So you watch his productivity go up on the uptick. They have him slated for like 4 or 5 touchdowns. I think he's going to go north of that. So on a deep tight end flyer, look for Allen. I don't think Ty. Man, I think Ty. I had him his rookie year. I had him his second year. I like to look in front. Humbly speaking, I can pick these rookies out of college. It's something I enjoy to do. And Ty had all the goods.
He looked like he was going to.
I'm going to pass on him at that spot of the draft and take other people. I'll take Jordy Nelson. I'll take Keenan Allen before I take Ty.
That's bold.
Yeah. Well, there's Moncrief is going to be a stud this year, and I could bet, and in fact, I would make this bet to you, Mr. Lion, and Mr. Raider, that Moncrief does better than Ty. If you want to do a touchdown number, I'm willing to take that.
It'll be close. I don't know about that.
But that's where I stand on Indy. I think Indy's going to win the division, and that's a stretch. But because, as we just mentioned, there's a lot of teams here that you can make
best
a case
quarterback
for.
Though in that division,
and you're going to
pick that's why.
You're gonna
even
pick
down,
exactly
even down.
Right.
Yeah.
After that, Houston has a new quarterback. Houston has a new running back. Houston has 2 new wide receivers to go along with.
J.J. Watt's injured too. He's beat up.
DeAndre Johnson, man, that
Johnson was lights out.
He's going to do his thing. He's got Will Fuller there now, who's been blowing it up in preseason, and he's catching a ton of balls. Lamar Miller is going to be the key to Houston's success this year.
Don't get me started about that.
Man, I had him last year on my fantasy in my money league.
I drafted him 3 years in a row, thinking he's going to be the next.
And it's disappointing every year. So let's.
I think this year, I think he's going to run for 1,500 yards.
But he had to have the if he carries the ball more than 20 times, he turns into a rich man's Arian Foster. There's nothing that he can't run to. His yards after his.
I agree with you. I think if he would have averaged 20 plus, he'd be the best running back in the league. One of the best.
The most frustrating guy to watch run last year.
Yep.
But he's going to get that opportunity in Houston. He has the support with. DeAndre on the side and the offense. The defense is going to keep the number low.
Yeah,
Clowney's starting to look
no
kind of
joke,
sexy now.
Man. Look out, Clowney's
took him a couple years.
Yeah,
and he found his own. And look out, that guy's
while he
no
was
joke.
filling out an application for 7-Eleven because that guy was going to be out of a job.
Yeah, it did look like he was about
done. As great as he was in college, and that was another guy that was a surefire hit, can't miss.
No,
and that guy filled the bed, but that was his own fault. He went Jamarcus Russell. Sorry.
Jeez.
And that's what he did. How can a guy be that good?
That guy.
And that's that guy. So, Houston I have as coming in third. Second is Jacksonville. I like Jacksonville here. Blake Bortles, another member of the Four Dogs last year on my money league. I drafted him after the 7th round. Let me find my back.
I picked him up towards the end of the season.
To my back and pat it. I had Blake Bortles, David Johnson, DeAndre, and Cam Newton all drafted in a 14-man league after the 7th round. So I get to keep one of those guys.
I was going to invite him into our league, but I've decided not to after that statement.
And you are now gone.
So I like Blake. I think Blake and all the professionals are talking about how he's going to not progress with the fantasy numbers, but his profession is going to progress. It is. And they say that the second year is the biggest year, going from first year to second year, where you see the most growth. Blake,
which makes sense.
You have Allen Robinson, you have Allen Hurns, you have Thomas there. The defense is the key here. I mean, they picked up Chris Ivory too, and you don't do that unless you really want to pay some time and run the ball and let your quarterback do his thing. You got Dexter Fowler that's coming back that never got to play last year. Man, that defense looks hungry. The kid from Florida State that was drafted in the first round, came in 5th overall. What was his name? I can't remember, but the Jacksonville is a real strong team there, and if you can find the right number, you'll double your money on that Jacksonville play as well. Tennessee, you pick up Murray, you pick up a guy that didn't get to. He looked horrible last year in Philadelphia. Talk about a guy that looked lost. He
was in Philly.
Yeah. So that doesn't help his cause.
That's not a good route to go on your life choices.
I don't want to say that he's going to have a fantastic year based on one preseason where he runs for 72 yards and a touchdown and he's running around like he's Bo Jackson. Let's take it easy. I mean, they drafted Derrick Henry, a Heisman winner, really high and really quick, and that's not because they just wanted to get a guy with a trophy. They don't quite believe that they're surefire with that running back. They sent Dorial Green Beckham. I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but they shipped him out. Second year. Last year was his first year. He was a third-round pick out of LSU. And they sent him packing. Then he went to Philadelphia. So he's gone. And Rashard Matthews is there this year. Rashard Matthews, Mr. Miami. I like Rashard Matthews.
I liked him a lot.
I like him in Tennessee. Mariota can throw the ball. I think he's going to progress real well as well.
That was a Philbin mistake. He buried him down on the depth chart.
Yeah. Delaney Walker is going to be a stud at tight end. The defense, you can flip coins, but that offense is going to be much, much better. And I have Tennessee to finish for the last time in the basement this year. Next year,
different story. Yep. Evan.
All right, I'm with you with Indy. I mean, I think it's going to be with the quarterback position in Indy. I'm going to go ahead and take that. I'm thinking Jacksonville for some. I think Jacksonville's going to have a pretty good year. I'd put them in second. I think when it comes to Houston over Tennessee, because I don't think Tennessee's going to be able to get it done this year. Houston, they do have good defense. I will always take defense, with the exception of a couple quarterbacks. I'll always take defense over an offensive team. So I'll take Houston over them. So that's the way I got it. Indianapolis, Jacksonville, Houston, Tennessee.
We agree. I'm Indy, Jacksonville, Houston, and Tennessee myself. Jacksonville's schedule is a little bit more favorable than Houston's, but Houston, I think that's going to end up turning out to be a Houston and Tennessee division.
Now, tell me something,
sooner
Brian.
than later.
A lot of the argument with, of course, they're going to find reasons to point fingers and tell you why you did so well instead of the fact that you did well. Blake and Jacksonville threw a ton of touchdowns last year because they were behind by so much. You and I watched the game, actually, when they were down 4 touchdowns, and he went out there and pretended like he was, Brett Favre and Elway had some kind of
schoolyard game.
But he did that.
Yeah.
And if he's got the goods to do that, granted, he's down 28 and it's a little more loose.
Right.
But, I mean, are you going to tell me that they're going to put up all those points just because they were down?
You know what? Yeah, I would, because when guys at that point, there's no pressure. When you take the pressure off the game, it's a totally different game. And when you're like, look, we're dead anyway. This game is over. We would never do this.
Doesn't that happen every week?
I think that factors, but I think the defense
not if you're down
slows
by 4.
down a smidge too. Like, hey, we're up 4 touchdowns,
Yeah.
up 3 touchdowns.
Absolutely.
Instead of playing so tight,
already.
they're playing back and allowing things to unfold in front of them, and then they're tackling, and then they're trying to.
And then what happens also
plays.
is then guys try not to lose, because the guys who are now kicking ass, instead of still playing to just absolutely win, now they're just like, oh God, they're coming back. You get inside their head. Now they're playing to lose. When a team starts to play not to lose, they lose.
I guess that's the pivotal point then.
I guess to say you don't full court press when you're up 30 points with 1 quarter to go. You stop. You come off the gas pedal on defense.
Unless
and
you're
I
the
think
Patriots.
Once is luck, twice is a freak chance. When you do it every week, if they're down 3 touchdowns every week and he's throwing touchdowns like it's far from 97, then there may be, to your credit, to your point, it may be some of the, it's playing not to lose, and it's him still hitting his completions. I mean, those are professionals.
Oh no, that's
on
absolutely
the
true.
other
Yeah,
side.
that's absolutely true.
Mm-hmm.
And
I've got a soft spot for Jacksonville. I like them. I like their team. I've liked how they've drafted. I've liked how they made a few offseason moves. I mean, looking at their schedule again, it's pretty favorable. I mean, they could creep up essentially on Indy and could take that division. And it sounds far-fetched, but
that's a dark horse.
Going back to that though, when you're playing like that because you're behind at all times, right? You're 100%. You're playing 100% at all times, but just because you throw, a Hail Mary and it works, does that make you a good football team, a good player? No, it doesn't. Mm-hmm. And if you just happen to have to throw 17 to even have a chance, does that still make you a good football team, even if you have to come back? No, actually, that's the other team laying off. You're getting, I won't say lucky, that's the wrong word, but you're doing things you have no choice to do. And it just happens to go your way, and it's working.
And it's working.
And it does not make you a good team. That just makes you, and it doesn't make you lucky either. I understand what you're saying. But you're doing things that you would never do normally.
If you're doing those things that you're
he's
not
gonna
doing
play
normally,
like that wide open the whole game.
And there's no way to protect against that.
But
There's no way.
But then, heaven forbid, if you get in a position where you're back in that position and you know what it takes to come back, and then you come back,
the confidence to be able to do that,
it's different. It's
still
a
there.
Different game.
The game's never over a team like that.
Instead of being down 3 touchdowns, what if you're only down by a field goal? You play that way, but now you know how to play, and it works.
Yeah, absolutely.
That could be a team that, like you
and
said,
the thing
a dark
with
horse.
Jacksonville,
That
though,
might...
is they're coaching. They're very coaches, and hands-on. Everybody loves that, but they're not showing the big enough jump season to season for, I can't remember the coach's name right now, for the 3 years he's been there.
This is the year that they get to do that if they're going to do that.
That's
There's
what
no
I'm
more
saying.
excuses.
Right. It's time to put up or shut up.
Right, you're right. Their backs are against the wall. It is time.
You know
really
what though?
is.
When you play like that and you know you can come back,
Imagine playing with a lead.
Absolutely. That's
or
the thing.
being close.
So it's like the exact opposite. Unfortunately, what happens to Jay and his Miami Dolphins? The exact opposite. They get behind by a second, they're screwed. They have to be ahead. They have to go. Whereas a team like them, we can drop through the floor. But if you stop being idiots to begin with, you'd never fall through the floor.
Because they experienced that previously, exactly.
But at least I would rather have them. I would rather have them playing, or I'd rather be on their team, because even if they're behind, they know they're going to come back. Yep. So no matter what happens, they're in a better position than a team like Miami.
That could be the best
if
thing
they're
that
not
ever
ahead
happened
by
to them.
6, no matter what, the second they get behind by 12, they're done. So.
Brian,
sorry,
what do
Jay,
you
didn't mean to
think
beat up your
about
team.
Hey, that's exactly why you did it. But
you
that's
play
fine.
fantasy, right? And you said all you guys do the fantasy deal.
Couple different ways, yeah.
TJ Yeldon is being drafted 5 backs in front of Chris Ivory. What do you think Chris Ivory and the Yeldon thing's going to be? How do you feel about that? Because I can tell you how I feel about it.
Yeah,
I don't believe you have an opinion on this.
No. Until it's proven, I don't think it's smart.
Okay,
I really don't. I like...
Either of those backs, neither of them got in a vehicle and fell asleep after doing a bunch of drugs into a pond.
Oh, you're talking about Denard. Yeah, Denard,
allegedly.
Denard
or he followed his
Robinson.
GPS into the lake.
No, he fell asleep. Denard Robinson.
That was the original story. Well, my GPS, what are you, Steve Carell from The Office? Come on,
I saw that episode of The Office.
Come on.
And he's not.
The cop banged on the window, and he's passed out, and he woke
now
up thinking that he's
you're
still
picking
driving.
apart a Michigan boy.
Okay.
I see where you're going with this.
No,
okay.
but I'm
Moving
just telling you
along
that Ivory is going to...
Did he have a trunk full of weapons?
No, he did not. No. All right, we'll close out, and then with the AFC West, and then take a break. We have Denver, Kansas City, Oaktown, and San Diego.
This is going to be a nightmare. Okay.
Yucky. Bring rubber
About as
gloves.
bad as the NFC
I'm going to
East.
go. This is what's going to happen here. I think San Diego, maybe it's going to be between Kansas City and San Diego, I'm thinking.
That's water in that bottle, or is that vodka?
No. Let me tell you why. Because Denver, with Sanchez throwing, is going to be an absolute nightmare. The only question is how fast you're going to stop him from starting for them, and how good the kid is. So I'm thinking, if they keep Sanchez the entire year, I can see Denver literally falling apart and ending up in the basement. Okay, I'm thinking though they're going to lose it. They're going to give him about a third of the year at most to be there. So Denver might come up in third place. So I'm going to say Kansas City, San Diego, and then the longer Denver. It depends on how long he's throwing for Denver. Then I don't know. Maybe if they stay too long with him, Denver's in the hole. Otherwise, they're in third place. So it's going to be a flip flop between Oakland and Denver, in my opinion. And that all depends on Sanchez himself and how crazy coaching will be in Denver. I think Denver falls apart with that guy.
Jay?
Well, Phillip Rivers is an enigma, as is San Diego. They should have been to 3 or 4 Super Bowls in the last 10 years.
Cough. NC State fan over here.
I mean, yeah, based on talent
but
alone.
Get it done,
Yeah. Denver, like we said earlier, Denver's defense will keep them in games, but I don't care, rookie or Sanchez, you're screwed either way.
Done.
Especially with the rookie they've got. What is he, 6'9", and he's never.
I hope and make
definitely not ready to play.
Denver's my team. Denver's my NFL team. I hope the rookie comes out. But I'm saying, like I said earlier, I hope they make him sit out the first third of the year, just so they can get a couple good games, at least see how it's played. And not so much see how it's played, see how not to play the position the way that Sanchez is going to do brilliantly for him.
I heard Simeon's going to be starting this weekend, and if he plays well,
that's what Brian was saying.
It's his job to lose.
Yeah.
Yes,
and then after that, Sanchez will be actually the third quarterback coming in. They're all going to get their even.
Nice.
So it's an opportunity for anybody.
Behind two rookies.
Susan.
If that happens, then all cards are off at that point with Denver. Then I have no idea what that.
Most of the time, rookie quarterbacks, though, unless it's a rare fluke thing like a Roethlisberger or Marino,
they get beat up.
You're done. So that's what I'm saying. You got to put Denver at last, pretty much for that. But the other three, their defense will keep them in games,
right? Which puts them at third. I think they get the third spot for that.
But do they have anybody even Trent Dilfer level good to get him?
No.
On offense, you know what I mean?
No.
I mean, you
Sanchez, man.
He's not.
He throws it away.
Wouldn't you like to? I mean, he's not. He's a guy they can almost cheer for.
How? He's the worst starting quarterback
he has a smile.
numbers
He looks like
of all
a poor
time.
man's.
This is a Tebow super
Saved
freak.
by the Bell guy. You know, he just kind of.
It has nothing to do with It has nothing to do with Tim Tebow. Sanchez sucks that bad. There's nothing I can say about it.
Yeah, it does have a lot to do with Tebow.
He's horrible.
I don't know, man. Between first place, Kansas City's. I like Alex Smith. He's decent. He's not a great quarterback, but he's decent. He's always going to be able to win 9 games for you, 10 games for you.
Right, which puts him at top.
Phillip Rivers, you just don't know how that's going to go with especially with their coaching. Oakland, I'd love to say, hey, Derek Carr looks good.
I know. Wouldn't you love to say that?
Carr looks good, but man, I don't know if Jack Del Rio did approximately Dick in Jacksonville.
But it was Jacksonville, so I mean,
different team.
Yeah, you can't hold it against one guy for the entire team sucking balls.
No, but they were decent, and then he made some questionable moves that cost that franchise, quarterback-wise, with Byron Leftwich and all that situation that happened way back then. I don't know, man. It's gonna be. I'd say it's between Oakland and.
Did you say something about Darius Hayward-Bay getting drafted 12th overall by the Raiders? Did you say something about bad decisions costing franchises?
Oh, they always draft bad.
Come on, what's wrong with that?
Is the stench still there from Al Davis? Because I mean,
I'm not
have
even
they
a Raiders
moved his
fan, and I'm
body
bitter
out
for
of
you.
Because I know, didn't he say when he died he was still in charge of the team for like 5 years after he died?
Yeah, more or less.
I just can't pick. I can't pick Oakland. I'm gonna have to go San Diego, Oakland, Kansas City.
San Diego, Oakland, Kansas City.
That's
Denver. Yeah,
Denver.
Oakland could turn it. I like David Carr. That kid, he's a gunslinger, but man, I don't know. The coaching scares me.
Even with Carr, McGloin sitting on backups just as good as Carr. But
you could also say, though, gunslinger quarterbacks, when they work well. When they don't, it's a freaking nightmare.
Yes.
It gets messy fast.
Yeah.
But he's young. That's another thing. Not a lot of teams have enough tape on a lot of these people. That's the problem.
Well, this is going to hurt me.
All right. What do you got?
I've known you a couple of days, and as you've heard in this broadcast, boy, you get the business for being a Raiders fan.
Oh, you put Oakland last?
And you're still going to get the business for you being a Raiders fan as you are.
It's okay.
I think Oakland can win this. Win this.
Ding ding.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, and I'll tell you why. Khalil, stud. They have
is a stud.
They Michael Crabtree is on the other side of Amari Cooper.
Yes.
Now
Come
that's
on.
a poor man. You tell me. How about Allen Hearns and Allen Robinson over in Jacksonville? Nice 1-2, or would you prefer Jordy Nelson and Randall Cobb?
Are you talking about for the best top two?
Best top two because
in the league?
I would tell
just
you
head to head.
Just top two wideouts.
Right on the same team, right?
Yes, on the same team.
And I don't know. Right now, I'd have to take the Giants. Look pretty good depending on what they do.
Amari's a year out of college.
Yeah.
And is a poor man's Julio Jones.
Right.
How about Jarvis Landry, who broke the NFL record for most catches 2 years ago?
I got a little love for Landry.
Parker.
Yeah. But I'm going to take Amari Cooper and Michael Crabtree, who was ridiculous in college, had a few hiccups.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's he done?
He had like 9 touchdowns last year.
Right,
and this year is a step forward with the kid Amari Cooper. That's a year better, runs better routes, and
don't forget about Andre Holmes sitting there too.
Yeah, but Cooper,
Holmes
you say
is
another year for
knocking.
Cooper. I don't agree because he's another person I think that was maxed out already. The ceiling coming out of college.
I won't buy Amari Cooper where he's being drafted right now, but certainly he has incredible talent. I would take.
He's
Crabtree.
good. Oh yeah.
I'm going to take Crabtree and another pick instead of taking Cooper and another pick because I'm a real big Crabtree believer this year. And you're talking about making plays this year.
Crabtree's burnt me.
He's beat you. Yeah, with San Francisco. You got.
He's burned me for picking him because I thought
Sure, you got random ticket holders getting put on a quarterback jersey and throwing them to Crabtree.
Yeah,
it's not his fault. But I like Oakland. The defense is going to be sound. Carr is going to do well. Murray is their running back. Pick up Washington, the kid they drafted. There's a reason why. They handed the ball to Murray like 200 times last year, and all he did was just bounce around like he was Ron Dane again.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Ron Dane retired, but apparently they didn't tell that
Ron
to Latavius.
Dane, wow.
But that being said, take a deep pick on Washington, their new running back. The second, if Denver can get their quarterback to not blow games,
because their defense is so awesome.
You've got Thomas and Emmanuel that's still there. They're two studs, and
it's just that giant hole at quarterback.
I wish I could believe this. I really do.
I can't give any more credulence to C.J. Anderson. I'm sorry. I watched him melt. I've watched Monte Ball melt. Both those guys were
that's
great.
surprising. I mean, I was somewhat happy about getting to Miami, and the fact that Denver went crazy to keep him. You know what I mean? They obviously believe in him.
He had such a fantastic collegiate career and looked as though he had the record. I think he still holds the record for touchdowns in college. Is Monte Ball? It's not anybody else. That's not a fabricated number. I mean, the guy did a few things, but he came and he didn't take his opportunity. Here's C.J. Anderson. What is he? I'm not a buyer. He's going really, really fast on the boards.
I wouldn't take him super high.
I'd say no,
huh?
thank you. I'd take Blunt before I took Anderson. They're saying he's going to carry the ball 250 times for 1,100 yards. Anderson is. Show me when he's done that before. Once
they've always done by committee in Denver
because people fill the bed when they hold the ball. So it's not because they like to go by committee. It's because no one wants to take that job and run. But I like the wideouts, man. Your wideouts in Denver are fantastic. If you can get a guy that can manage the game, poor man's Trent Dilfer. If I don't think it's gonna be Paxton. I like poor man's thing. That's my deal. So if Paxton, I don't think he's gonna see a lot of the field this year. But if Sanchez can just do enough not to hyperventilate and act the fool.
Here's my issue. I don't even trust Sanchez to hand the freaking ball off.
Butt fumble? Yeah.
I don't. Yeah. And the problem is he doesn't either, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
That is the problem. Therefore,
how do you feel about Simeon? How do you feel about the other kid?
Here's the thing: you got to find.
You don't know what you don't know.
You don't. You don't know what. I would like to say he's going to be, and yes, he's probably going to be. He's probably going to be a decent player. How quick? How much? And who's going to teach him how to do it? That's the problem. Sanchez is the one teaching.
It's not going to be Sanchez. No.
The defense.
That's why I say you can't teach. He's not going to be able to teach him what to do. He's going to teach him what not to do. That's the only thing you can do.
They look a lot like that Baltimore Raven team that had that stellar defense, and the offense had a few spots, and they had a quarterback that you could not put a child in a hostage situation and get him to throw an accurate 30-yard touchdown pass because he's not going to do it.
If he could at least just hand the ball off.
Yep.
If he said, look, because they've got a good line. Their defense is fantastic. The wideouts are amazing, okay? I think the team as a whole gels pretty well, okay? They've been to the Super Bowl. They've won it, okay? Yes, if he could just hand off the goddamn football and not mess that up, I'm thinking
then they win.
They're probably at least 10-6. All right. The second he touches the ball, I take, and it's not even just me; it's him, and that's the biggest problem. They're done. They're dead. They are dead stick starting day one. Dead stick. Their only hope is that the new kid does come out and gels, and the new kid learns quick enough, and nobody knows anything about him because they haven't seen any film on him, which Jay pointed out, which is only going to help the kid. And he's smart enough to be like, look, I might have to just be able to hand the ball off. And if that kid can hand off the ball, there you go. You might be right back at 10-6.
Yep. So I like Denver there. Kansas City, Kelsey's still there. I never met Alex Smith, but when he came out of college, as a number one pick, oh my God, you can keep him. It didn't translate to being a professional quarterback from what he did. Tim Tebow, God bless him. One of the best.
Careful, sir.
He
might hurt you.
I understand. I feel that across.
He's staring at you right now, like
when he talked about the Gators earlier. I knew observation's not my soft suit. So Tim was great. Was he 22 overall? He went 22nd.
Oh no, he should have never been drafted in the first round.
In the first round, they went to get him. Now they were buying into how he played as a college player. And by the way, I would put him as one of the top 3 collegiate players that my eyes have ever seen.
Absolutely.
I've seen
of all
some
time.
guys.
Yes.
And definitely, I said that the other day, arguably number 1 of all time, but you could definitely put him in the top 3 guaranteed.
Sure.
No argument there.
You can't take that away from him. He goes to a team that is asking him to do something different than what made him so spectacular in college, and it didn't turn out so well for him. He's an athlete. I mean, he just went out and tried out for baseball.
I know. He's doing training with Gary Sheffield right now.
He wears a size medium, and he's a large. I mean, the guy his muscles have muscles. I mean, he's a freak in nature as far as looking with his physique. But I think he's better fullback or a tight end than a quarterback. But I don't want to offend anybody. I think I already did.
No, not at all.
You're good.
No, and that's open to everybody else. The thing I do like even more about him is he's like, look,
he's a winner.
I'm a quarterback. I want to be a quarterback. If I can't be a quarterback, that's fine. Then I'll go do something else.
Right.
But if you don't want to bring me in as that, then that's fine. And that's, by the way, what you drafted me as.
Right. And St. Louis did that with Eric Crouch. He was a great college quarterback, very similar to this, where he was fantastic on the college level.
Absolutely,
but it was not going to translate to, and so he played safety. So they stuck him over there.
That's what Denard did, QB for Michigan, and he realized he was not going to get
Give
drafted.
Me a paycheck, bro.
Yep, I'll play running back.
Bubbles car wash.
I won't throw it professionally, but I'll run it all over.
I'll
the
tell you
place.
what, though, that's a big deal with Tebow too, because it was never about the money with him. It wasn't. It's the love for the game. Yep. He's like, this is what we're going to do, or I'm not doing it.
Heinz Ward, another one.
There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever.
He would make a comfortable living doing his
anything
sponsorships
he wants to.
and having the motivational speaking. He charges X dollars for those, and they would line up for it. But
all day long.
I cheer from the do what you want, have some principles, have some.
I think his biggest problem, which we talk about all the time, is they don't trust him in the locker room because they're so pure, they're so slimy that they don't trust him at all, and that's what the biggest problem is. In my opinion,
it's got to be something because all fan bias aside, the guy's good enough athlete to play in the NFL. I mean, there's no.
He's better than Sanchez.
I don't know who
that's
you
a
could
goddamn
argue
fact.
and say that he can't play in the NFL. I mean, even not necessarily start, but the guy's
second
a good enough
or
athlete.
third string. You can't. You're telling me
you're saying there's not one second or third string quarterback that he's better than in the league right now. Not one.
Where if the game is coming down, to 5 seconds on the 1 yard line, he's not worth paying the couple million bucks.
I thought he was going to go to Jacksonville and stay there.
How that still hasn't happened. Any day it can still happen right now.
I know. Jacksonville is so stupid for. Oh yeah,
it's 10,000 tickets a week
at least.
Number one jersey sales
twice. He did it. He did it for Dallas,
decision.
And then he did it again for the Jets. Broke all the records for jerseys. The guy only played 9 times. He touched the ball 9 times playing for the Jets for 3 years. Right. So give me a break.
If the NFL is a business and you're in it to make money, then you can find the 53rd guy that you can cut and add.
That's where the problem is. There,
the third string right guard can.
There's something else going on when that is absolutely a fact.
Just look at the numbers. How long has it been since Tim has been in the league until now? How many seats have Jacksonville been vacant per year since he's been in the league?
Sounds like us, Evan.
And then how much money is each ticket on average? Take 75% of that, and you can cut me a check for the.
It almost pay back his minimum veteran balance. It almost pay for itself.
Let me tell you something. Also, if he goes to Jacksonville, I will go to at least 2 games a year in Jacksonville. I will drive.
All the Gators would. Everyone from Gainesville.
They would.
Of course.
Oh my God.
It's so stupid. It's the dumbest move in the history of football. Dumb. If the guy never throws a pass, dumb.
See what happens when I bring up Denver's quarterbacks.
I know, right? Jesus.
The Kansas City deal, to put some closure on Kansas City being a third. I like San Diego. I'm a Pip Rivers guy. I'm an NC State guy. So, Rivers, I think, is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He has an unorthodox throw. He's always won. He went into the Doak and gave the business. The only quarterback to ever go to the Doak and win twice in both his times as quarterback. It wasn't Charlie Ward. It wasn't. Not Charlie Ward. It wasn't the kid from Nebraska. It wasn't anybody else. It was Phillip Rivers. But Kansas City, I think it's the last year they have Jamal Charles, and I think they're going to run the wheels right off of that bus. They're going to run him, knowing that they're not going to keep him for next year. They got Sharkey's, and they got Spencer Ware. They're moving on to something else. So look for Jamal to have a better year than most fantasy guys think he's going to have. Stay off my picks in the fantasy, but Jamal is gonna get a lot. Is gonna get his big dose. And San Diego, Keenan Allen's a stud. He got hurt last year and was on pace to set the record for receptions in a year. That wasn't a fluke. The guy's getting 15 catches a game. By who? By Phil. And that defense is horrible. So yeah, he's playing from behind a lot too. Joey Bosa is acting the fool and not showing up. But I think that Travis Benjamin on the other side of Keenan Allen is real nice. I think Pip's gonna. Antonio Gates last year, they let go of Green, who went to Pittsburgh and has problems with concussions.
I scratched my head on that one.
Oh, Antonio Gates?
Green. No, Green.
Oh, the Green thing? They gave him $20 million, and he took it, and he's a freak. I mean, he's Virgil Hill on steroids. You know, the guy that was a Denver tight end.
Yeah,
Virgil Hill.
Yeah,
Virgil Green. So you know, he's really fast, really athletic, and he's a paper tiger. He has concussions now. He can't even get on the field in practice. Well, man, you should probably do your homework before you give a guy $20 million.
Right. And that's where I'm going with that. Like, if you're going to give him all that money,
was he worth more if he was healthy, or did they get
what are they seeing?
Well, they're seeing that he runs a 4.5 and he's 6'7".
And you sneeze and he's got a concussion.
Maybe he got hurt, man. I've been hurt. You've been hurt. We've taken a bump one place where you shouldn't have, and now you can't walk right for 2 weeks because of one.
You know what happens with a concussion, though? Become concussion prone.
Not off one.
Not off of one.
One's been reported.
Mm-hmm. Reported.
Right. You see where I'm going with this?
Everybody in the league
yes. Because then yeah, that's been reported. You mean to tell me that guy's only had one concussion in his career? I highly doubt that.
I think he's going to be okay. I'd like to think that he's going to be okay. If he is a top 5 tight end in the league. But that's those ifs. You know, if I stood out in the sun anymore, I'd be sunburned.
Down goes Frazier.
San Diego comes in last. Melvin Gordon's going to have a pickup year. Last year, it was messy. It was tough to see him. He was prolific in college. He set records for Wisconsin, and he didn't do what he was supposed to do. Danny Woodhead is a madman. He touches the ball 5 times a game, 4 times a game, but he catches the ball 8 times a game, and he takes away. He's a touchdown vulture. So if you have Gordon thinking that, you know, hey, no, Darren Sproles does that for Ryan Matthews. Every team, you know, Deion Lewis did that to Blunt. Every team has that concern. And if you have a fantasy team like I do, then you're gonna have to factor that in. But Gordon looks explosive. He looks strong. It looks like he's got it. I think it finally clicked for him. If you have an opportunity to get him low, and you're going to be able to get him in the 6th or 7th round, that's a guy that could turn the corner, and you're looking at a keeper league. I've had Cam Newton, DeAndre Hopkins, and A.J. Green in the last 4 years of my keeper league. So, and that's drafting with 12 guys like us and picking after the 7th round. So you get to keep one guy after your 7th round. So if I tell you that there's a sleeper out there that you might like, maybe drop an ear. And Melvin, if you... Yes, they don't all have to win, but man, I've been in my championship 2 out of the last 3 years, and it's not for benefits. It's not for for anything except the pockets, brother.
Well, just run right through the list. I think we covered enough. Raiders, Chiefs.
It hurt me to say Raiders, by the way.
Broncos and Chargers. So we're going to take a quick break, then wrap things up. We're going to go over the UFC medical suspensions, and then just briefly touch on some college football. We didn't get to do the Big Ten or Pac-12 preview.
We're a week away from that, right?
We'll cover that tomorrow in
Christmas
depth
early.
more, but we'll wrap things up right after the break.
College
here.
kid?
Oh, I'm a college guy.
Oh, you baby.
Hey, this is Chuck from the BS Show. I want you guys to go check out the best Italian restaurant I've ever been to, Dolce Italia. It's at 6551 Gateway Ave. Their phone number for reservations, 941-921-7007. Guys, when I say this food's amazing, I've been all over the country, all over the world. This is the best Italian food I've ever had. Authentic, unbelievable stuff. Gotta go check it out.
Hi, I am Tiziana. I come from Naples. I own Dolce Italia, Italian restaurant in Golf Gate, 6551 Gateway Avenue. Come to try our wonderful food. Mangia bene, ridi spesso, ama molto. Eat well, laugh often, love much.
Tune in to Goddess Gossip. We can talk about how I'm not a Star Wars person.
Okay, yeah, we should talk about that.
Now that Jay's back too.
I like Star Wars, and
it's not that I don't like it. I've just never seen it.
Well,
I can't say I like them all, and I don't know.
I guess I've never been like a diehard Star Wars, but like I can follow it, and I've always gotten it, and like I like stars, and I don't like wars, but I like galaxy shit and like the cosmos.
You're so literal. You sound so blonde and basic.
I really am.
Well, I like stars, but I don't like war, so
I am basic.
Like,
I'm
so
super basic and super blonde, so tune into our show Goddess Gossip Saturdays, 10 p.m. to 12 a.m.
Gulfgate, Sarasota, it's time to eat, and there's only one place to go. Ham Heaven and Devil Dogs, 2647 Mall Drive in Gulfgate. Try the one-of-a-kind filet mignon sliders or the award-winning Reuben sandwich, voted best in the state of Florida. Ham Heaven and Devil Dogs is open Monday through Saturday till 3 a.m. So after the bars close, you can get some of the best food in Sarasota. Call in and place your order today at 941-923-2514. That's 941-923-2514. Check them out online at hamheavenanddevildogs.webs.com or on facebook.com/HH&DD.
Hey, this is Paulie from the BS Show. When I'm out and about, having too many, it happens to us all, there's only one cab service I call. It's my ride. 941-400-6606. No more three-time surcharges. No more drivers that don't speak English, don't know where you're going. They pick you up, they take you home safely, clean cars. They're professionals. They know exactly what they're doing. And when you're riding with My Ride, don't forget to mention the BS Show, 20% off your ride. Chucky, on occasion, will have too much.
Not me, Paul.
These guys are the best. They're what you want to call. They will take care of you. 941-400-6606. My Ride. It's not your ride. It's not his ride.
My ride.
It's my ride.
Hello, this is Captain Sherman of Paradise Boat Tours, and if you're looking for a great adventure on our beautiful local waters, then we are the boat tour for you. Check out our website at seadolphins.com. We leave 7 days a week from Bradenton Beach Pier on beautiful Anna Maria Island. It's fun for the whole family, and yes, we see wild dolphin 95% of our tours. Paradise Boat Tours. Call us at 941-465-8624. Like us on Facebook or go to seadolphins.com. Here, Flipper.
So, Evan, you want to make the other announcement? I know you're excited and happy.
We do have a fantastic new sponsor, absolutely. We are now very lucky to have Rico's Pizza as a sponsor for us. 6547 Gateway Avenue in Gulfgate. They're open from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m., 7 days a week. They've been there 17 years. Jump online, ricospizzatogo.com. Give them a phone call at 941-922-9604. We did find out today that you mentioned the 444 Radio or the BS show from 444 Radio. You will get 20% off your tab. Give them a phone call, guys, 941-922-9604 or ricospizzatogo.com.
How you doing? This is Chuck from the BS Show. I would like to tell you about a great company, Sarasota Sign Machine, LLC, the exclusive sign and print sponsor for 444 Radio. A sign of quality you can trust, located at 601 North Washington Boulevard, celebrating 6 years in business and over 20 years of experience in Sarasota. If you need signs, banners, vehicle magnets, custom design, neon repair, business cards, printing, and more, trust the Sarasota Sign Machine. Look, let's be honest, you have so much more to think about when running your own business. Call us at 941-302-4275. Check us out on Facebook or at sarasotasignmachine.com. A sign of quality you can trust. Tell them the BS Show sent you.
Evan, we've lived here 6 months and this bathroom still looks terrible. You're supposed to help me remodel it by now.
I know. You just know how busy I am, though.
Busy? We've got to get this done. If I can't do it because I don't have time and you don't have time, what are we going to do?
I know who to call.
Hello, my name is Stephen Dennis. I own a business here in town called Needaman2 LLC. My email address is needaman2@gmail.com. My number is 941-232-2776. Again, that's 941-232-2776.
Oh my gosh, this looks amazing.
What a great idea.
I'm Dr. Sean Stringer. Me and Dr. Philip Nikeo are the newest members of the 444 radio lineup. We'll cover weight loss, health issues, mental health issues, and we'll talk with top health, wellness, and personal development gurus in the industry. You can even call in with your questions and much, much more. Trust me, I'm a doctor. Wednesday nights from 7 to 9 on 444 Radio.
Hey guys, how we doing? This is Evan from the Bee and the Soup Bed Show. I'm here with Rita from J Dub's Brewing Company, and we're in studio. How are we doing today, Rita?
Good, how are you?
Excellent. Hey, I know you have a fantastic brewery over there. Please tell me a little bit about it.
The brewery itself has a tasting room. It has 10 tap lines, so you can find anything that you want, from a light to a dark flavor.
So whatever you like, you can get it?
Absolutely. We got a flavor for you.
Perfect. Also, tell me a little bit about the beer garden I've been hearing so much about.
We got a big backyard out back. We're kid-friendly. We're dog-friendly, so you can come bring your family and friends and just have a good time, play some games, and drink some beer.
Excellent. And then you guys got food?
Absolutely. We got food trucks every day around 5 o'clock. We're open Wednesday through Sunday, noon to midnight.
Excellent. Hey, I hear a rumor that you guys do something cool over there on Wednesdays.
We do. We have free yoga on Wednesday evening starting at 6:30. Come hang out and drink a beer and stretch it out.
That sounds like a great way to spend a Wednesday, I'll tell you. It's 1215 Mango Avenue, Sarasota, Florida, 941-955-2739. And what about social media?
Go to jdubsbrewing.com and you'll find everything right there.
You guys are by far the best brewery in town, and we're proud to have you guys as our sponsor. Come on out there, have a drink with us, and we'll sit around and have a good time.
Cheers, guys.
Looking for the best breakfast place in Sarasota? Look no further. Downtown Word of Mouth, the official breakfast and lunch restaurant of the BS Show, located at 711 South Osprey Avenue, Sarasota. Open 7 days a week. And for special catering events, call 941-365-1800. Don't forget, we are pet friendly with our doggy dining. Like us on Facebook, Word of Mouth SRQ, Downtown Word of Mouth. Tell them the BS Show sent you.
Welcome back, everybody. We are live from the Body and Mind Wellness Center here in Sarasota, Florida. If you have any opinions about what we talked about today, please call 941-330-4087. Tweet me at Real Brian Gould. Shoot me a message on Facebook, Real Brian Gould. Want to close things out with the UFC 202 suspensions. They're medical suspensions. It's not violations. It's a mandated thing due to injuries. The big one, though, Conor McGregor, he is facing actually a suspension up until possibly February of 2017. It's possible that he fractured his foot and or ankle, so he's got to see an orthopedic doctor to make sure that that did not happen. If that is the case, then he has to sit out till a minimal February.
Now, if that happened, because I was reading stuff about how Dana wants him to defend his title, they're going to strip it. So,
well,
if he's injured, are they going to let him hold it, or are they going to vacate it?
No, they're going to do that interim.
Oh, they're going to interim?
Yeah, that's usually what happens. And he wants that defended like now, the featherweight title. We talked about it yesterday, and Conor said, "I don't see Dana stripping me. That's just not going to happen." And Dana doesn't strip anybody unless there's some real major controversy behind it. So, but that's worst case scenario. Best case scenario, just due to injury by Nevada Athletic Commission rules and laws. If he is not walking around with a fractured ankle or foot, then October 20th is his cutoff date for the minimum suspension. And no contact, meaning any practices or training that he does, he can't have any contact until at least October 5th. So that would ideally, if that happens, that would leave him open for UFC 205, which is taking place in New York. That'll be their first one, and that's November 12th. So you might, if everything falls into place, Nate Diaz's suspension is till September 20th with a no-contact rule in training till September 11th. So if we're going to see a McGregor-Diaz 3, it could be as early as UFC 205 in New York at Madison Square Garden.
That's where you'd want to do it.
That is exactly where you'd want to do it. Other couple key names that are sitting out for a little while. Glover Teixeira, he's sitting out till November 19th. Rick Story till October 5th. Handful of other names down the list that really won't be brought up for 205. Maybe Chris Avila, September 20th. But that UFC 205 in New York is huge because now there's rumbling Cyborg and Ronda Rousey. That could be Rousey's first fight back for her little layoff stint here. UFC 205 in New York. I don't see her and Cyborg hooking it up, especially for her first fight back. There's issues there with weight class too. Rousey fights at 135, and that's where all the marquee names are for the women's division. 135, Holly Holmes and Miesha Tate, Nunez, all the key names are in that 135 division. Now, Cyborg's last fight, she came down to 140 and was comfortable with that, but she absolutely refuses to go down to 135. And Rousey refuses to come up to 140 to fight. So there's a little disconnect there. Maybe Dana can put something together where, you know what, it's just a 5-pound difference. It's someone's going to have to pay some type of weight class infraction to penalty to pull that fight off, unless one of the two stubborn girls, one moves up or one moves down to make that fight happen. The UFC as a whole, I think recently their last couple pay-per-views have been really, really good. They put together some really good cards. UFC 200, we talked about it yesterday. 201 wasn't bad. 202, definitely not bad. But potentially we could see Nate Diaz and McGregor as early as UFC 205 in New York.
What's the date on that, by the way?
That is, I just had it. Apologize.
No problem.
UFC 205. I was just looking at it. Now I feel really bad.
That's right.
Scrolling up.
205.
205. There it is. Sorry, November 12th, Madison Square Garden.
There you go.
And that's going to be a blockbuster event.
Just being at Madison Square Garden,
and
it's going to be.
The first time there.
First time ever?
Yeah. New York
had
MMA.
A ban on it, right?
Yeah, they had
I
a
thought
ban.
They did it at 200.
200 was in Vegas.
Oh, was that Vegas?
It was Vegas, yes.
Yeah, and that makes sense because Madison Square Garden, boxing mecca of the world.
Yeah, you know the veterans and old timers there, they hate the sport.
Of course
of
they
MMA. They don't look at it as a sport. They
Remember we watched that one video that Rosie O'Donnell's gay brother or whatever was talking about how I don't know why gay people don't like it. It's just a bunch of men. Remember that we covered that story?
Yeah, what the hell was that all about?
That
I
was
don't know.
Weird.
Well, everything with Rosie O'Donnell's weird.
What isn't? Yeah.
That was her family, though. So I guess
weird. Yeah. Strange.
So, for medical suspensions, you got a handful of key names out at least a month. McGregor could be out as late as February of next year. I did want to get into college football preview. I was going to cover the Big Ten and Pac-12 today. Unfortunately, we won't.
Never
get
heard
to do
of
that.
either of them.
Yeah.
Those are college divisions?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You said Big Ten and Pac-12?
Yes.
Big 12? That's another one I've never heard of.
The Big 12 conference, yeah. Well, maybe I'll just touch on the Pac-12 a little bit because we're limited on time.
If you touch on it too much, we coming from Penn State, so you might want to care.
Ducks, okay, now we've touched on it. Let's go.
Well, since 2009, Stanford and Oregon have ran that conference year in and year out. And you might actually see a change at the top for once. And I'm thinking UCLA and Washington. Washington's in the North Division, and UCLA's in the South.
Washington every couple few years puts together a good team and starts putting pressure on those guys, but it never seems to happen. So we'll see.
They have it, and they have it this season, and I think they do give a good run in the North Division. Oregon's again just been there year in and year out, but they've got a question at
the Ducks and the trees. Ooh, yeah, they're awesome.
They've got a question at quarterback and their defense. They switched to a 4-3 defense, and they were last in the Pac-12 in points per game and yards per game. So if you lose your quarterback and have yet to figure out who's really the man there, not to mention you changed up your defense altogether from 3-4 to 4-3, hoping that that'll make things better, the lack of experience all the way across the board, offensively and defensively, I think they bottom out.
Yeah, when you're that bad though, is there really a bottom? Even if you suck more. Who cares?
Well,
your chances of doing better are what you're looking for.
But then again, they were they always rank high. They're always always putting up a lot of points. Mm-hmm. Last season, they unfortunately didn't do that. Then over in the South, Stanford.
Always overrated? What?
There you go. Stanford's ranked 8th coming into the season, and they don't have a quarterback either. They lost 3 offensive linemen to the draft, and but they did bring back the leading tackler in the Pac-12. defensively, they look pretty sound. Offensively, there's a few questions there. But
a few?
Yeah, just a few.
Let's let them win 2 games in a row, and then we'll talk about how they're looking.
But like I said, the Pac-12, you might see a change at top. Washington and UCLA. I'm trying to pull up Stanford's schedule.
Stats?
Their schedule here. Kansas State, USC, UCLA, they just don't have a favorable schedule for them at all.
Come on now, spit it out.
Yeah, what you got?
Just.
Oh, now?
Stanford. You're talking about Baylor?
No, Stanford.
All right, I was going to say
they're sitting at 8, and I get why.
Can I just say something real quick?
But
okay, I'm a Gator fan, and I'm hoping that we're going to have a good year. Okay, but we come in as 25th, and I'm thrilled to be in the top 25. Let's just put it that way. Okay.
Right.
Now your meccas that you're talking about, Baylor and Oregon, come in respectively at 23rd and 24th.
Stanford at 8.
So, and Stanford is at 8.
Stanford is who I'm covering, yeah, Stanford.
So realistically,
they have
Oregon who?
Yeah. Well, they have 2 ranked teams on their schedule. Notre Dame.
Is Michigan 7th?
Yes.
How in the hell is that? Because Harbaugh's the coach.
Yeah.
Wait till he chokes again. It'll be fine.
Right. Another guy drinking vodka from his bottle of water.
That's awesome.
And of course, they play Oregon. That's a conference game. But Oregon's sitting at 24. UCLA, though, I think UCLA comes out of the Pac-12, and they've actually got the more favorable schedule. They don't really play. They don't play anybody that could dethrone them out of their division. I mean, Utah played decent last year. Oregon State did okay last year. They have USC on their schedule. Stanford will be probably their toughest game. Other than that, I wouldn't be surprised if you see UCLA in a top 5, top 6 by the time the season's over with.
Are you laughing, Evan?
No, not at all.
No. Okay.
Not
all right.
at all. Not at all, my friend.
No. And then in the North Division, Washington's schedule isn't that difficult either. Rutgers.
All right. Well, let me just. Are you saying UCLA? You said.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you're in the top 5. So you're saying, because right now the way it's got, you got Alabama, Clemson, Oklahoma, Florida State, LSU, all of which, as a Florida fan, I hate. But then in 6 through 10, you've got Ohio State, Michigan, Stanford, Tennessee, and Notre Dame. My biggest problem for me as a Florida fan right now is Tennessee. That's the one that worries me the most as of right now, and LSU, because I have to immediately play those guys and back-to-back again. But you're saying that they're going to break that top 10?
And the reason why, okay, they lose 1 game.
Right.
They win out. You still have conference title games.
Right.
So usually what happens is you usually have 2, maybe 3 teams from the SEC in the top 10. 2 of those 3 are going to play each other for their conference title. That third one's going to get left out. A whole lot of leapfrogging happens because of those conference title games. The Big 12, they don't have a conference title game right now. So they're going to get leapfrogged. If they have a team sitting in the top 5, they're going to get leapfrogged because of those conference title games. Pac-12, you're going to see a representative from the Big 10, the Pac-12, the SEC, of course, and ACC. Big 12 gets snuffed. Notre Dame, you're not in a conference, therefore you don't have a conference title game, so you're going to be on the outside looking in as well.
Your ACC conversation is definitely probably going to be, well, right now you've got 2. You've got Florida State and Clemson both having, hopefully they're having a good year. But chances are one's going to knock the other one out. That's your extreme for the ACC. So if you end up with 1, it all depends on how Florida State's going to do.
Florida State's going to play very well.
Right.
And
Clemson's got no balls. They can't hold it together ever.
Clemson didn't prove it to me until they got into the national title game, and they hung with Alabama. And I wasn't a believer with them until I saw them play. And to come back and almost give Bama a real run for their money, it looked like they could beat them.
Just think about what you said there. To look like they're coming back and almost have a chance
to give a run.
To give a run. Maybe.
Yeah.
Clemson falls apart. Florida State depends on how many people go to prison this year.
Florida State's home against Clemson this year, so
Yeah.
I think Florida State wins
the
the
only
ACC.
time I'll pull for Clemson.
Yeah. Well, guys, thank you for listening in. Another great day, knocked out. Tomorrow we'll talk more college football.
Tomorrow, yeah, absolutely. You know what?
break it down.
I can't wait for that.
Yeah.
I'm going to do we got a ton of stuff we got to do here tonight, but I'm going to, between the hours of 3:30 and 6 in the morning today, I'm going to do some research, get my stuff going together for that.
I was kind of jamming. I was looking at my notes here, trying to jam this in because I know we're limited on time, but we'll break it down more tomorrow, definitely, for sure. Thank you for listening in live from the Body Mind Well Center here in Sarasota, Florida. I'm your host, Brian Gould, along with Evan and Jay. Thank you guys for listening. We'll catch you tomorrow.
Go Gators.